Hello. Oh, and everything went wrong on the stream again. What? Oh, I know what I did. I know exactly how to fix this. I'm turning off chat. Hello. I'm very good at tech and Zoom and all of those things. Hello, everyone. It is time for Dungeon World, where I will teach these fine fellas here how to play Dungeon World, which is like Dungeons and Dragons, but isn't Dungeons and Dragons. Before we get started, let's go around and do a very quick set of introductions so people know who you are if they are just listening, not looking at the overlay that has all of your information. My name is Kyle. You can also call me TechnoSkull, but Kyle is that's just my handle for Twitter and social media. And I use he, him pronouns. And we'll go now to Anders real quick. Anders, you're muted.
I'm no longer muted. I'm Anders, and you can find me on the internet at Anders_D_K, and I also use he, him pronouns.
And Ty?
I'm Ty. You can find me at Ballroom Brawler on Twitter. I use he, him pronouns.
Adam.
I'm Adam. You can find me at Adam_J_Pearson, because I made my Twitter handle a long ass time ago, and I also use he, him pronouns.
All you people with your long pronoun, your long Twitter handles is where I'm trying to go. Words, my brain is thinking about 5 different things at once. Matt.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I am at Matthew W. Foreman on Twitter. I use he, him pronouns. What up?
What's going on? So, we are going to today learn this wonderful game called Dungeon World, which is a powered by the Apocalypse Engine, whatever you want to call it, game by Adam Kobold and Sage Latora. Funnily enough, they named their little company Sage Kobold Productions. I see what they did there. Which is sort of a love letter. It's seriously a love letter to old school D&D in many ways, but replacing the mechanics entirely and just keeping the flavor. So we are going to go through how to play that. The concept for today's game is literally your standard kind of 4 adventurers are going to go into a hole in the ground to get treasure. That is about all that I am going to tell you in the beginning. If you're going into a place called Trollstone Caverns. Everything else we are going to kind of make up as we go. The main rule that you need to know going in is most mechanics in Dungeon World are what's called a move. A move happens when most of Dungeon World is a conversation. It's us literally just talking to each other and playing make-believe together in like super dungeon-y kinds of tropes. And sometimes something that we say in the conversation, something that we're doing in the fiction of the game will match. Think of it kind of matching, sort of like an if-then rule. Oh, when this happens, then there's some effect mechanically. Sometimes, not always, that involves a die roll. And sometimes it won't. Oh, when this happens, then the GM has to, for example, some kinds of paladins, when the paladin asks what here is evil, the GM will tell you. There's no dice roll, that's just a move that the player has available to them, and they make me do the thing. Others involve rolling dice. Almost always in Dungeon World, when you're rolling dice for a move, you're going to roll 2 6-sided dice. I don't ever roll 2d6. You roll 2 6-sided dice, potentially add a stat. If it is 10 or higher, you do the thing. You succeed. If it is 7 through 9, you get a mixed success. You get what you wanted, but it's going to cost you, or there's some complication or whatever. And if you roll 6 or less, I get to do a thing. Sometimes the move will tell me what that thing is. Sometimes I just get to pick from my kind of normal list of things that I can do. And that's the way that it works, right? That's the whole basic mechanic. Now, as we get started, with the very first thing that we have to do is choose classes. I'm going to tell you some basic classes. All of you have played Dungeons and Dragons at some point. I've either played with you or seen you play. So you pretty much know already how to play these classes just from what they do. There'll be some specific moves for each of them. But for the most part, you've got your Barbarian. And think less Grog or Yasha. And the whole point of the Barbarian is they are an outsider. They are an outlander. They are from someplace else. Bard with artistic magic, usually musical in some form, but doesn't have to be. Clerics, you get to, by the way, kind of define your deity and what they're about. Druids in Dungeon World are more about changing shape into beasts or summoning elementals. They're less the kind of nature wizard. They're in Dungeons and Dragons terms, they're mostly moon druids and not land druids. So if you like changing shapes into crazy animals, as we had last week, that was a thing that we had. Fighters, you can guess what they do. They do get to make up their own signature weapon, which is pretty cool. Let's see what else. We've got Rangers, who are, hunters with animal companions. Thief, I think I'm missing one. I need to pull this back up. See, I'm trying to see if I can do it off the top of my head. You've got Thief. You have, which is the Rogue, obviously. Oh, I did miss one. I'll go back to that in a second. But more kind of the old school. They're about stealing things. They also do some damage, obviously. Paladins are arrogant, holy. They don't have to be arrogant. Are holy warriors, right? With a little bit of magic. And then wizards, who are in original D&D, right? You had 3 and then 4 classes, and what that we now call the wizard was just the magic user, which was the sorcerer and the warlock, and everything kind of rolled into one. So clerics and wizards also get to have spells. Everybody else, even like paladins and bards who have some kind of magic, they don't have a spell book per se. They get to do different kinds of magical things. So we can have no more than one of a given class. The 4 of you then kind of talk amongst yourselves and figure out what classes you want to be. I'm going to share to you all in Discord a link to... hang on just a second. Can y'all close my door? If I'm going to share to you the playbooks. But y'all talk amongst yourselves. Which classes sound interesting to you?
I'm very interested by the Immolator.
So the Immolator is it certainly is available. Is a little bit different. The Immolator is kind of also what it sounds like. The Immolator likes to set things on fire.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they do. There's a few other things about them, but they're not quite firebenders, but they kind of are.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we've got an Immolator. I'm about to share to y'all the thing. Here we go. There you go. You can pull down form-fillable PDFs.
Oh, cool.
And what about Ty or Adam or Anders? What kind? I think this is a one-shot. You don't have to worry about it too much. Just pick something that sounds like the ideas typically appeal to you. I always like to play thieves. Pick a thief. Whatever.
I was thinking cleric or fighter, but I'm not super picky if someone else wanted one of those.
Yeah, I'm obviously I care deeply since I'm making such a great decision right now.
Right.
I'm pretty open as well. I don't care. Cleric or fighter, I don't care about.
I will take cleric.
Okay. As you do that, you can immediately start filling in your name and your look. And for some of you, like clerics, you immediately have a very few initial choices to make. A cleric, for example, has to figure out the tenets of their deity. How about Ty and Adam?
I was thinking either thief or bard.
I was thinking barbarian or wizard, so.
All right, I'm gonna go bard then.
All right.
I guess I'll go barbarian then.
Oh man, that's going to be great. I'm already excited. So, as you're going through those, you pick your... If you can't think of a name, some relevant kinds of names are there for you, but you don't have to exactly pick from one of those. Similarly, for your look, you can choose from, for example, for the immolator, body, eyes, voice, and demeanor. But you are certainly not restricted to those choices. Those are, if you're having as much trouble figuring out a name as Adam was figuring out a class, then there's something for you. Oh, and you need to choose a race. Each race has sort of for any given class, has a move available to it. So, for example, if you're playing I've played a halfling thief for a long time in a campaign, so that's always my go-to example. And a halfling thief gets a bonus to range damage. Other times, it's not a mechanical thing; it's a fictional thing, which is just as valuable in Dungeon World. So you pick your class, your race, your name, and your look, and then we'll talk about stats after that. Everybody got their race and name and look? Y'all probably already.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I have an idea what you're doing, but I want to hear it for myself in a minute. Next, you're going to choose your stats. Now, because they wanted to make it like D&D, and this is the part that's annoying, you choose your stat, and then you get your modifier. So you'll see right above the stats, you get to assign a 16, 15, 13, 12, 9, and 8. And each of those have a modifier, which doesn't exactly correspond to how 5e calculates modifiers. All you really need is the modifier, except for Constitution, which I'll talk about in a minute. But if you add a +2, a +2, a +1, another +1, a +2 zeros, and a -1, if I were running when I run a Dungeon World campaign, as I have in the past, or as I am right now, I'm about to wrap it up, I prefer just to focus on just the modifiers, because why do I need these 2 extra numbers? The only thing where the original number matters is for Constitution. Hit points work very differently in Dungeon World. Your max hit points are whatever the number is for your class plus your Constitution score, not your modifier. So, for example, for Immolator, your hit points are 4 plus your Constitution score. If you put 12 in your Constitution, you're going to have 16 max hit points. And so normally during a campaign, your hit points don't change unless you put, every time you level up, you can increase 1 score by 1, and you would at that point increase your max HP by 1. But your hit points really don't go up very much over the course of your adventuring career. As an adventurer levels, they get more moves open up to them. So actually a level 9 and a level 2 character can be in the same fight. Like, it doesn't cause scaling problems, which is great for a GM. And again, some of you will need to choose from initial starting moves. The Barbarian is an example where the Barbarian gets to choose from their Herculean appetites. Perhaps they seek power over others, conquest, fame and glory, mortal pleasures. Matt, you're not playing a barbarian. Alignment is a little bit different. Alignment is a 5-point system rather than a 9-point system. There's, of course, neutral, good and evil, and lawful and chaotic. And not every class has every alignment available to them by default. If you say, but I really want to play this alignment that doesn't match here, then we can make up a move for it or grab one from another class or whatever. This again, don't think of it as don't think so much about the label as think about the flag that goes with it. So you don't have to think, oh, I'm playing an evil character. evil might mean that you just, for a thief, means that you blame somebody else. It wasn't me, it was the other guy that makes you the evil character, but you don't have to worry too much about that. Everybody good on those things?
So if it's it looks like there is an alignment that is already put in here. Is that like barbarians tend to be chaotic neutral, or
No, there's no. You pick one or the other. You pick chaotic or neutral.
now I understand.
So, for example, I had a campaign that ended where I had my halfling thief, and my buddy played a barbarian, and she played a chaotic barbarian who eschewed convention of the civilized world. He only walked around in a loincloth, and every time we would play, it was awesome because he just did not understand why these supposedly civilized people act so uncivilized according to the ways of his people. The thing is that, for all of these, they're trying to get you in the mood to emulate some particular tropes. So, for example, for the barbarian, we won't have these today, but some of the move names for advanced moves are things like appetite for destruction, my love for you is like a truck, Samson, a good day to die, kill 'em all. Those are names of moves. The idea is the kind of, okay, this is the mentality, this is the idea behind this kind of barbarian.
I can dig it.
Similarly, our new friend, the Immolator, the moves there are also hilarious. There's like From Hell's Heart and Burning Ring of Fire. Give me fuel, give me fire. Give Matt that which he desires. Oh wait, that's Metallica. For gear, you've got a few choices to make. You'll typically pick a weapon, maybe kind of armor. Adventuring gear, you don't have to go pick, well, how much rope do I need, and do I need this many torches, and a grappling hook, and this and that. You just have adventuring gear. And anytime that you would need something like that, you just happen to have exactly the right thing. You pull it out of your gear, you mark off one use of adventuring gear, and you say, oh, I have a torch, or I have a 10-foot pole, or whatever that is. And that's all you do for that. What else here? That in a new window and bring that over here. There we go.
If it doesn't say uses, do we get unlimited uses?
Depends on what. Give me your.
Choose one: gear or healing potion. Healing potion doesn't have any uses listed next to it.
What's your class again? Cleric?
Cleric.
Let me take a quick look. I'm trying to remember what that will say. Oh yeah, healing potion is one use.
Sorry. That was a cat.
I mean, who's going to complain? I keep hoping my dog will run in here and hang out with us for a little while on the stream. Doobie-doobie-doo. Classic Kyle sneaking. So I was listening to Metallica and Iron Maiden and all this stuff to get ready for the game because I'm always... That's just how I roll every day. I mean, I don't think it surprises anybody. Yeah, the one who knocks. There you go, Adam. My dog loves you all, but he really loves chasing the birds outside right now because it's a nice day. Okay. And I think we are just about ready. Oh, well, I'll tell you about bonds in a minute. We don't make a bond yet, but we'll do it very, very soon. What am I looking for here? There we go. You've got your starting moves, your alignment, your gear. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to go around and introduce our characters. As we do that, listen for something that sounds interesting to fill in one of the bonds on your sheet. Bonds are not the same as they are in 5th edition D&D. They are not what binds you to the world. They're what binds you to each other. Because this is important. Your 4 characters don't all have to be friends, but they do have to work together and have a reason to work together. They could be friends, but it could be something else. You could be... for example, the paladin often has a relationship with the druid where they respect their ways, but they're going to show them they're going to eventually teach them the one true way, right? That's the sort of a bond. Other bonds that you might have, so let's look at barbarian. Somebody is puny and foolish, but amusing to me. That's a bond. Somebody else's ways are strange and confusing. That's a bond. And then what happens is, during the course of a game, usually it's over the course of several sessions, you might resolve a bond in the sense that either you've completely explored what that says, or it's no longer the main way you relate to each other, and you get to mark XP when that happens. So, as you're listening to each other's characters, you don't have to get permission from them, just fill in on your sheet, oh, this person... here's my bond with them. And then we'll explore those real quickly afterwards. So we're going to go around and introduce our characters. The main thing that I need is your name, race, and class. And then I will ask you some questions to... you are going to define the lore of the world. Literally, what I have is you're going into a place called Trollstone Caverns. You can guess the kinds of things that may or may not be in there. The world itself, we will build as we go. This is, in that sense, I have 4 co-GMs right here with me. That's what's going on. So, Matthew, since you were the first to pick a class, why don't you tell us about your character?
Alright. My character was an immolator. I picked Salamander for my race.
Uh-huh.
And my name is Melisandre. Malesandre.
Melisandre.
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 And he's a man.
Well, he's a salaman.
Dur.
So tell us, are salamanders from this same world?
Yeah, this world's got lizard people.
Okay.
Salamanders.
Indeed. Why does... I need to pull up... I've never actually played with it, and nobody else has been brave enough to actually play an immolator with me. So I think this is fantastic, and I'm so glad. What is it that your immolator loves about fire?
The way it changes people.
The way it changes people. Not
Yes.
creepy at all. What are your people like? Do they live in cities? Do they? What are the salamander people like?
I think that they have had a hard time finding their place. I think they're nomadic.
Okay. They're nomadic. And for everybody watching, because he is a salamander, immolator, he gets a special ability. Non-magical heat and fire cannot harm him.
So I think they tend to travel in the deserts.
They're desert people.
Mm-hmm.
So the desert wasn't hot enough for you because it can't hurt you. You want to set more things on fire.
Well, I want to spread the flame of truth.
Is the flame of truth a particular philosophy, or that's just a thing that you have, or is that actually like a religion of the salamander people?
I think salamanders believe in the power of fire. They worship it like a god.
So the flame of truth your god?
Yeah, sure.
Or like an aspect maybe of the god or something?
A philosophy within the god. Yeah.
Okay.
Because there are only the salamanders, or at least my character believes there are only 2 gods.
Okay. What is the other god they believe in?
You got the god of light and the god of darkness.
Okay, so that is the beliefs of the salamander people. Okay, we're going to be exploring more of that in the fiction. So thank you, and tell me one more time how you want that name pronounced.
Melisandre.
Melisandre?
Yep.
Okay. Anders, tell us about you. Why don't you introduce your character?
All right. So I'm playing Duncan, who's a human cleric who
Oh,
uses he/him pronouns.
thank you. So Duncan is a human cleric. Who is Duncan's god?
Duncan worships Onos, the god of children and the forgotten.
The god of children and the forgotten. Is that something that has particular special meaning, I guess, to Duncan?
Well, so Duncan was an orphan, and all orphanages are sort of considered like sacred to Onos. Onos helps provide for orphans and such, and he grew up really believing that he wouldn't have made it if it weren't for this place, and now wants to serve Onos and help others.
And within society, is there any particular way that Onos is Onos viewed as like a good god, or is like just a god for the poor? How does society look at Onos?
Most of society doesn't think about him. He's not really a highly worshipped, extremely powerful god. He's a god just for the people who need him. He's not considered evil. He's considered good.
Sure.
Most people don't really pay him any mind because most people don't need his protection.
All right. So what is the domain for your deity?
The domain is the downtrodden and the
there we go. Yep. And what is one precept?
So we preach the sanctity of suffering. So kind of give up, earthly means and live in poverty so that you can help people. Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have to tell me now, but you have your 3 rotes, which are like cantrips, and sort of like cantrips, and and choose your appropriate number of first level spells. You don't have to worry about you track it. I'm not going to worry about it.
Yep.
Let's see. And again, for everybody else, as you're listening, if either Duncan or Melisandre, any of your bonds that appeal to you that sound like, oh, this character would fit in there, then write that in on your sheet, and we'll come back around to those. Anything else we should know about Duncan?
No.
All right.
He's just a real simple-looking person.
Oh yeah, that's right. What is the look for Duncan?
Duncan is older, in maybe his 60s even. He's got sort of wrinkled skin, a bald head, dresses in just a plain brown habit. He looks homeless, and is homeless, and he just looks unopposing and non-threatening.
Homeless, wandering hermit. Great. And let me go back real quick. Melisandre, what does Melisandre look like as a salamander?
He's got perfect skin.
I can't hear you.
He's got perfect skin, smoldering eyes, and a whispering voice.
Oh, that's why. Okay. You're going to have to do a little bit more of a stage whisper. Oh, years have I. Okay. Next, Ty. Why don't you tell us about your character?
I'm going to be playing Bramble Donovan. He's an elven bard. His look is where did I write that? He's a little bit thin. He's got knowing eyes and fancy hair and fine clothes.
And for your bard, first of all, what is his area of lore in which he is an expert?
His area of lore is something I fixed previously. It is spells and magics. He knows his way around nice book and a fancy fingers.
Fancy fingers. So what instrument does he play? Or does he play an instrument or does he just sing?
He generally. Well, I had to pick an instrument.
Yep.
He generally dances more than instruments at this time. But the instrument I picked was the pipes, which courted my first love.
So how did that go? You courted your first love. Is your first love still around and part of your life?
No, it was a dwarf named Jeremy, and Jeremy was a cheating sort of long red beard and a black heart.
Wow! I feel like there's some tension here, and I love it. Look! Even Matt is turning the color of his shirt now. Look at that. A dwarf named Jeremy.
Yeah.
Was that recent or a long time ago?
It was many years ago.
So so how did he learn about spells and magics? What is the source of his expertise in this?
I think that once he learned his pipes and dancing could create magic effects, he began to study it a little bit harder, and that's kind of where he began to investigate a little bit further in spells and magics and nerd.
Okay, and what are elves like? What are elves like in this world?
They are probably a little bit cocky, headstrong generally, like the finer things in life.
Is Bramble like that himself?
Yeah.
So he's a pretty typical example of an elf in this world, at least as far as he's concerned, right?
Yes. Correct.
Okay. And all right, we will move on to Adam. Adam, why don't you introduce your character?
All right, I have decided to play Nice Stone Shield.
What was that first name?
Nice. It's spelled. I'll spell it in the Zoom chat. It's spelled like this, like the rock type. I'm a geologist.
Okay.
But it is pronounced nice.
Yes. Can I guess?
He's
nice
a Dwarven barbarian. Who hopefully doesn't look anything like Jeremy.
Fucking Jeremy.
Okay. So does Nice wear armor or does he walk around unencumbered?
Full plate and packing steel.
Oh, I dig it. What are his Herculean appetites?
He enjoys fame and glory and riches and property.
Excellent. We are going to do the outsider move right now, which is, first of all, tell me about your homeland.
Oh, it's a lovely place. Mountains as far as the eye can see. The people are a little shite, but it's alright. Lovely hunting weather. Very cold. I know where I live now.
Why did you leave? Why did you journey so far away?
Well, you see, when you challenge the chieftain's son to a fight and you kill him by accident, you kind of have to leave.
But was it really an accident?
Oh, it was. I mean, when someone jumps on your sword, you kind of can't stop them.
Okay, all right. And that's Adam. So have you all filled in your bonds? Bonds are handy, by the way. They also have a mechanical effect if you try to aid or interfere with someone else.
Sorry, was there like a helpful list of potential ones, or?
They're right on your character sheet, right next to your stats.
Oh, Oh, okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, so you just fill in some names and you're good.
Do we need to fill in all of them or just some of
You
them?
do not have, it is to your benefit to do so, but you certainly do not have to do so. Not required. And the bonds will kind of come up during play, really. So just again, an example with which I personally am more familiar. My buddy who played a barbarian was my bond as a thief for that character knew incriminating details about me and it came out when we were doing something. He's like, hey, this is like that time I saw you sneaking out of that second story window late at night and I didn't tell anybody, and it kind of became the way that we related to each other for a while. Like, he was like, I didn't care, what am I going to tell? You're a halfling, you got to make a living, etc., etc. It's dwarf. Wait, is Nice actually from Dwarfland?
Huh?
No, I was just giving Emma crap about calling it Scotland.
Okay. Woo.
So what are the characters' name? Nice, and then
Nice, the stone shield.
yeah,
And then Bramble, the elven bard, and
Bramble.
Bramble. I don't remember the last name. You're muted, Ty.
Bramble Donovan.
Bramble Don. That's right. I should remember
Bramble's
that.
good.
You have to have the somehow put the quirk of the lip at the end of the name somehow. You have to make a emoji for that.
And then Anders, what's your character's name?
Duncan.
That's right. Okay. Who wants to be taught the true meaning of sacrifice?
No. It's not who it wants to. It's who you want to teach it to.
Okay. Who do I want to teach it to? Okay.
You dig?
I've kind of guessed at my bond. I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I've kind of guessed.
Okay. Now, a few questions for you all from my dungeon starter, which is just a short set of questions, impressions, and a few other notes about the dungeon to which we will be adventuring for today's session. First of all, who among you is the least experienced in this adventuring business? Yes, we are level 1, Anders. Not that it makes a huge amount, it just kind of keeps things simple. Who's the least experienced as an adventurer?
I think I might be.
Really? The nomadic salamander?
Yeah, because you're traveling with like 60, 100 people at a time. It's not really adventuring, it's just living.
Fair. The rest of you, anybody else feel like they would have been even less experienced adventurers? Probably not the barbarian. The barbarian probably had an adventure just getting to where we are. Yeah, okay. Duncan, what brought you to the Trollstone Caverns?
Well, I heard there might be prisoners or slaves being kept in these caverns, and it is my sacred duty to free those from bondage.
Interesting. Rumors of prisoners in there. Any particular kind of prisoners?
Well, you see, Onos is particularly protective of children.
And that's what you want to make sure. Okay. Hey, I'm working on names still. Nice. What mighty civilization once ruled these caverns?
Well, they're named for the trolls, but I believe it was actually the goblins that really used to run this place long, long ago. And the trolls were some of their shock troops.
And what happened to the goblins? Or what have you heard happened to the goblins?
Well, I certainly didn't kill them, so that's sad. But I heard that they fell upon one another. Great civil war happened, and they destroyed themselves.
Interesting. Are goblins still a part of society in any way now? Like in the cities in which you visited or in the lands from which you come, were goblins part of society in some form or fashion?
Not where I'm from, but there are, as from what I understand, still goblins around.
Okay. Bramble, what is the elves' relationships with the goblins? What are elves? Do they get along? Are they enemies? Are they just like different kinds of people in the same cities?
They're just different kinds of. The elves would look down upon them, the greasy and dirty goblins.
Wow. Of
They
course,
steal our finery and our shiny objects.
do they look the same way at humans and dwarves?
No.
What?
No, the elves do like humans and dwarves.
All right. Melisandre, what sorts of treasures might the goblins and trolls have left behind in their ancient caverns? What sorts of treasures have you heard of?
Machines of war
Oh.
and implements of destruction.
Infernal war machines, perhaps?
Yeah, bombs.
Might have to change one of my bonds.
If your bond is save Melisandre from themselves, it's a terrible bond.
And now it's save everybody else.
I have it as Bramble currently because it's like they get themselves into lots of trouble. I have to protect them, but I'm guessing it's actually Melisandre.
Nice. Hey, Bramble, who is a lore expert. What prophecy is associated with these dank limestone halls?
If you get to the bottom of these deep halls, you find a treasure with your weight in gold.
Hey, buddy, come here, Ozzy. Come here. My dog came to see me, but I think he's nervous about the... There we go, buddy. Come here. Come say hi to the internet. Say hi, Mohawk. This is my Mohawk Terrier, Ozzy. He just wants to see all the stuff that's up here. How you doing,
Oh my
buddy?
god. Oh my god, doggo.
Yep, he is not actually named for Ozzy Osbourne, but everybody kind of thinks that because of me. But that is not where the name came from.
This is the greatest day.
But we did adopt him. When we adopted him from the shelter, he already had a mohawk, so my wife has made sure that it had to be preserved. It's my little buddy. Yeah. Yeah, is Kevin leaving? My son is leaving you alone. Kevin is just watching YouTube. Okay, find a treasure worth weight in gold. Anything. So what are trolls like? What do you think trolls are like? Well, let's say nice, because you're the one that said that the trolls were their shock troops. What were trolls like?
Think big, ugly, and scary. They were the cave troll kind of esque from Lord of the Rings movie. Very just massive things that just flew through front lines of troops and eviscerated anyone in their way.
So how did the goblins manage to get control of them?
That has been a debate amongst the scholars from what I understand. Some say it was some kind of magics. Others say that they owed them a debt for something. Still others say they were family members. And it was a misnomer. They weren't actually trolls. They were just really huge fucking goblins.
Buddy, oh, you wanted to stay. You just wanted to be right here. Okay. All right. Oh, no. You just want to be literally under my chair. That's what you want. Okay. All right. Yes. Swoglins. All right. So, the four of you are together. Does anybody want to quickly explain why they might be adventuring together? What is your reason for being together? Is it that Duncan got you all because he wants to come rescue prisoners? And maybe some of you also heard there was treasure. Works. And then you'll explore your bonds as time goes on. You can kind of hit them.
And I see it as an opportunity to spread the flame. So here we go.
All right. So as you reach the entrance to Trollstone Caverns, from some distance, you detect an unbelievably bad smell, like a pudding made of rotten clams, moldy raisin bread, and sour milk, all stirred together and left in the sun for a while. And that's what it smells like as you get closer to the entrance to these caverns. What does this smell remind you of, Duncan?
Well, to be honest, this smell kinda reminds me of the slums where I grew up and places that the rich folk in the city just don't seem to care about. And well, it makes me sad, but just a little homesick in a weird kind of way.
He does want back up. He's letting me know. Okay. As you get closer and you're getting a little bit homesick, you hear down within this chasm in the earth, there's this great black void in the earth. And down below, within it, you hear this sound. What do you do?
We don't see anything?
It's dark in there. If you want to go up and peer in, that's certainly. So you as you get closer, you can you can see down like way down below, down like if you follow down to the rock, a faint sheen, maybe the reflection of water, something like that. But otherwise, you mostly see just within this great chasm, kind of these natural, maybe rough-hewn stairs leading down into the ground.
Melisandre, perhaps you want to shine a little illumination on our way forward.
It would be my pleasure. Could you light a torch for me?
Are you lighting a torch? That you're okay?
I'm asking someone else to.
I will light a torch.
I will use a Zuko style to bend the flame to my will.
Oh, so that is the name of the move. So first of all, Anders mark off one use of adventuring gear. That's where they come. Like, oh, I've got a torch right here.
Yeah.
And as you look deeper down now with this light, you can see on the walls leading down at this here near the surface. They're very faded and kind of eroded out, but there are these ancient carvings on every wall leading down into the darkness. And these carvings are indeed they show these cavorting goblins, and they show the goblins in these great underground cities. It's hard at this up here. Like I said, they're very eroded from rain and the passage of time. But perhaps as you get deeper in, they will be easier to determine. The other thing is there you see these ancient runes and sigils occasionally intermixed within these. So, you are here on the surface looking down into the entrance to Trollstone Caverns. What do you do?
Is it like a cylindrical hole, or is it at like an angle?
No, it's like at an angle. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like a giant well hole.
No, you're not gonna fall down, and you can walk down into it.
Anyone else have any bright ideas?
The fire has lit the way. Let's move on.
Let me just take a hot minute. Hold on. This is probably an important location. As an elf, I'd like to ask you for one fact about this location.
Oh, very good. Let's see. One fact. Is it a lore fact or something else?
It just says one fact. Oh,
Okay.
from history. Anything about the history of this place.
All right. You know that deep within here, there is said to be a large subterranean lake far down within the earth here, known as the Lake of Legs.
No, I've not been here before, but I want you all to just to be aware there's a lake of legs down here. It seems mighty concerning. So just be careful. Don't get all wet. And he looks at Melisandre.
Aye, a lake, an underground lake. That's disappointing. It'll make it harder to spread the flame. Truth. So are we up against a dead end? Is that what is happening, or are we just not?
No, you just haven't gone down inside yet.
Nope. Going in.
The fire will protect us.
So who is going to lead the way into the cavernous depths? Oh, very good. Nice. I'm going to be doing that the whole game. Nice. Can you roll 2d6 and add your wisdom modifier?
I mean, if I have to.
I have a special move.
This has nothing to do. I just read something. Does this have anything to do with fame and glory?
Not yet. I wouldn't say.
Okay.
No, you're just going in.
Oh yeah, this is good. It's good. We're starting off strong. That's a 7.
7. You can choose one of the following. You can get the drop on whatever danger lies ahead. You can be able to find your way back to the last place you paused to take in your surroundings, or you happen upon a discovery.
Do I get to know the crappy thing? Happen upon a discovery. That sounds more fun.
Oh, that does sound fun. So, as the four of you descend into this cavernous dark, the tunnel starts to wind down into the ground. You can see some of these puddles of water. This is not yet the Lake of Legs, but you can see water there. And you see scattered upon the ground in one of the areas where the ground or the stairway starts to flatten out. You see the now long desiccated corpses of several goblins. But one of those goblins is holding a slightly curved short sword with a tarnished silver hilt and a delicately carved sheath of iron. You want to go with Kevin? You can take him.
Oh, a wee goblin. He died. That's sad.
Is it?
What was that, Bramble?
I said, is it though? Is it sad?
I think any death could be sad.
All the other weapons and implements there, because this is so long ago, are rusted, or the hilts are rotted away, or they're broken. This one here, however, as I said, it's got a silver hilt and a sheath, and the sheath itself is made of some kind of horn. Maybe it's from elk or similar.
That's a good weapon, though. Shame for it to go to waste.
Well, you found it. Perhaps you would like to take possession of such a fine instrument.
I could, but I really like my axe.
Well, then if it is all right with the rest of y'all, I would hold on to it.
Feel free.
Yo.
Duncan, as you brandish this blade, and you see some ancient lettering carved into the blade itself. As you brandish it, it glows with the light of the full moon.
I'll take that as a sign that I meant to have this. And I will put it in its sheath and attach it to my waist belt.
Do you worship the moon?
I do not, but I believe that the moon is good.
All right then.
So one thing I want to explain real quick, mostly the four of you have probably seen it, but to other people watching, there are different kinds of moves. We talked about starting moves and moves special to your class. There are special moves which kind of come from me, like we did just now on leading the way into the cavernous depths, which when it comes up, I'll say, oh, we triggered a special move, and I'll tell you what you do. There are also basic moves that everybody has that you can do at almost any time. Hack and slash to attack in melee, volley to attack from ranged. Discern realities is like a perception check, but way more. When you closely study a situation or a person, you'll roll, add wisdom, and depending on your roll, you will get to ask from a set of questions. Spout lore when you consult your accumulated knowledge. It's like making a history check or some other kind of intelligence check, like an arcana check, for example. Also, those kinds of things. When you're like, anytime you would ask the question, would my character know about X? That's a spout lore. You roll, you add intelligence, and depending on what happens, you can learn something interesting and/or useful. Other things are defy danger. So defy danger is kind of like a saving throw. When there's this imminent threat or other calamity and you act anyway, or you try to do something despite it, then you say how you are, kind of trying to avoid the danger, by powering through with sheer force, by withstanding it, by getting out of the way through charm and social grace, whatever that is, and we'll roll the appropriate stat. And that's one of the most common ones. Then there are special moves that will trigger at specific times. There's an end of session move when you make camp to rest. there's a move. If you undertake a perilous journey, there's a move. Those sorts of things. So, but you don't ever have to necessarily have to say, I do hack and slash. It's instead, no, I brandish my great axe and slice at the goblin's arm, and that will be hack and slash, and we would roll that in that case. So always start and end with the fiction, the story that we're telling, right?
Yeah.
So
I
go
would
ahead.
like to examine the goblin body.
All right, that will be discern realities. So you can roll 2d6, add wisdom.
7.
7. You can ask. There's a list of questions, or even for everybody else, you should have them at the top of your very top of that sheet. If not, what happened here recently? What's about to happen? What should I be on the lookout for?
Nice.
What here is useful or valuable to me? Who's really in control here? Or what here is not what it appears to be? If you roll a 10 plus, you get to ask 3 of those questions. And also, the next time that you make a roll that's based on the answer to this question, you get to add +1 to it. That's what +1 forward means.
So what happened here recently?
Recently, not much. There has been, as you look around kind of at their the bodies themselves are relatively undisturbed for some time, but there are you'd notice some tracks, humanoid-sized tracks in the earth, as if a few people have come and gone through here, but they kind of walked right past the goblin bodies and left them there. Maybe they didn't notice the sword, what have you.
All right. So when I lean down in my, brilliant red robes and my hood, I'm going to just look closely at the goblin, and then my eyes will stray away, and I'll look towards the tracks and turn to the group and say, "We're not the only ones who've entered this tomb recently. I see some humanoid foot markings." I'll just kind of point to them in the dim light.
Great.
Nothing else I see is interesting, so shall we move on?
I guess so. Onward and downward.
Lead the way, nice.
I will take up the rear. I have a shield. I will protect our flanks.
All right, nice. Are you in fact leading the way?
Yipperdoodles.
Can you roll plus wisdom again?
I'm so glad I don't have anything in wisdom.
That's what makes it fun.
Whoa, that's 10.
10. Choose 2. Getting the drop on any danger that lies ahead, being able to find your way back to this place, or a discovery.
1 and 3.
Okay, so if there's any danger, you'll get the drop on it. You come to sort of a junction in the caverns where there are two. There's a tunnel that you came in, and then it sort of forks. Right, there's this large-ish kind of room, maybe 20-foot radius, and then 2 other corridors that lead off. One of whom has another one of those same, very similar looking ancient runes carved into the ground, looking similar to the ones that you saw in the carvings near the surface, and the other one does not.
So my discovery is the rune.
Your discovery is, as you're looking there, you see in that seal, that seal mark is really what it kind of appears to you to be, that there is in fact a small set of rune stones scattered around it.
That's odd, isn't it? All their runes are Higgledy-piggledy.
Well, I can take a quick, looks-a-daisy. I do have a little bit of experience in spells and magics.
Indeed, you do. That, let's see, that gives you, make sure here, when you first encounter an important creature, location, or item covered by your bardic lore, you can ask me any one question about it. I will answer truthfully. Most things that require the GM to give you information, I have to give you truthful information, not, oh, you don't hear anything, you don't see any traps, and then I get to ask you what tale, song, or legend you heard that information in. So what is your question?
My question is going to be, what kind of effects do these runes have, this scattering of runes?
So there's two things here. The runes that are carved into the stone itself, into the actual floor of the cavern, are protective runes that when they are crossed, if someone walks across them, will trigger some sort of magical trap. The rune stones on the ground around it are instead used to cast them upon the ground and ask the runes a question to get an answer from them. They are small in shape and they have different runes engraved on different sides of them. Where have you heard of these kinds of runes? What tale or song have you heard this in, or legend?
I heard this from the song Goblin Joe and the Runes of Stone.
Oh, I heard that one.
It's a great one, isn't it? It's got quite the melody to it. Just keeps beat a tapping.
I am not familiar with this tune, and it sounds quite discordant.
I can play it for you sometime. I have my pipes here. I can pull them out. Do a little dance.
Let's not.
Maybe later, Melisandre. Later.
So these are actually little like bones or whatever.
Carved in stone, yes.
And so someone has cast the runes across the seal?
No, nearby, like kind of around it, nearby it.
Oh. So someone was trying to get through there, I suppose.
Yes, no.
Yes, so what do you do? All four of you.
Oh. So I wonder if the trap can only trap one of us.
If it's a trap, perhaps we could try to disable it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you could do that too. We could do it the Dwarven method.
What's the Dwarven method?
I'd charge head first.
I knew that was going to be the Dwarven method. I used to have a...
Or I'd toss the shortest one of us through the trap. Either or.
So what do you do?
If you are volunteering to examine the trap more closely.
I just want to, sorry, I hate to interrupt, but in this case, I just want to point out that the stream is now named Dungeon World, Goblin Joe, and the Runes of Stone.
Perfect.
So, I'm sorry, Duncan, please continue.
I was just suggesting that Nice seems to want to volunteer, then perhaps Nice should volunteer.
Alright. I'll run and try to jump over the seal.
All right. As you cross that mark, you hear the sound of stone scraping on stone. And you have enough time to do just one thing as these stone wheels start to roll out of slots cut in the rock. What is the one thing that you do before they roll out?
So, can I ask for an explanation of exactly what's happening before
So as you are crossing, there's this mark in the ground.
Yeah.
And as you are running and leaping over it, you start to hear the grinding sound of stone. And you see coming out from the wall these giant discs of stone coming to close off that tunnel.
Nice with duck and roll. Try and make it through before they close.
All right. As you do that, you hear this ka-dum sound. And now the four of you have, you have Nice on one side of these stone doors, and you have the other three of you on the entrance side to these stone doors. Nice, ahead in the dark. You're used to being underground. You have some amount of being able to see somewhat in the dark. You're not like one of those, piddling humans. And the tunnel winds away through the earth like the intestines of a dead god. And further in, you can still hear, even louder now, that sound, but it's continual. Like a fluttering sound. What do you do?
Nice would holler into the distance, "I'll be with you in a minute!" And he will try to start bashing his way backwards through the stone doors.
The three of you on the other side of the stone door, what do you do?
Can we hear him bashing?
Oh yeah, you
on
can
the
hear
other
the
side?
ding, ding, ding of him hitting the stone.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. I will come. Fucking idiot.
What, do it.
No, I don't know. I have nothing. There's nothing. I will conjure a weapon of pure flame.
What does your weapon look like?
It is a hammer.
So you have a hammer made of flame.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with it?
I will attack the door.
I attack the door.
I desperately wish I wasn't, but here we are.
I mean, this is what happens when you have a dwarf who is told what a trap will do, more or less, and goes ahead anyway. This is going to be a defy danger. Obviously there's this calamity here where you're split off. Can you roll plus your strength modifier?
Okay, great. This is defy danger?
Yes, the danger being that you stay separated.
Okay. 9.
9.
Yep. 10 minus 1.
So for those watching, since this is a teaching session, for defy danger on a 10 plus, you do whatever it was you were trying to do and the threat doesn't happen.
Sorry.
On a 7 to 9, you stumble, hesitate, or flinch. You either get like a lesser success, or I offer you a hard bargain or an ugly choice.
Okay.
So basically, you succeed, but there's a complication, right? Or you can succeed, but you have to make a choice. So this weapon of pure flame, you are striking the stone at the same time that Nice is attacking. What kind of weapon are you using, Nice?
Good old axe.
Good old axe. You can break through, but as you break through, your friend is just on the other side. So if you keep hitting it, when you break through, you're going to end up hitting your friend.
And I know he's there, or I don't know he's there.
You can hear somebody pounding.
All right, I'll try to like hold back to not break through into them.
Okay. Melisandre, what are you doing?
I'm just smashing through the door.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
So here's what I want you to do. On your character sheet, right below hit points, it says damage. That is the damage that you, anytime it says roll damage, you roll damage for your class.
Okay.
In this case, it's a D8.
Okay.
So first of all, I want you to, actually, here's what I want to do. Take it back. I want Nice to defy danger in some way, so the hammer flame can't touch this.
I'll try to dodge out of the way real quick.
All right, so roll plus dex, your dexterity modifier.
Oh, that's a 6.
Okay, so you mark XP.
Yeah.
This is one of the main ways in which you get experience in Dungeon World is through failing. Oh, you should have, I'm sorry, you should have also marked, I should have had you mark XP at the beginning when I asked you about your homeworld, because that's specific to the barbarian. When you play a barbarian, at the start of every session, the GM asks you something about your homeland or why you left or something like that, and you get to mark XP because it's part of the world building. In this case, Melisandre, can you roll your damage? You roll your D8?
6.
6. So Nice, you take 6 damage, subtract whatever your armor value is. So armor doesn't help you avoid getting hit in Dungeon World, it's damage reduction.
Okay, and armor is just whatever armor I'm wearing, right?
Yes, unless you have a move that gives you more armor.
No, it's just. So this is 5. Okay.
Let's see, for the immolator on your burning brand. This is awesome. Begins with fiery, touch, dangerous, and 3 useless tags.
Yes.
And then each attack with the weapon. Okay, so here's my question. Since you conjured a weapon of pure flame, we should have had you roll plus con.
Yes.
I didn't. I'm new to this class. So roll plus con. We should have done that a minute ago.
12.
12. You can choose 2 of those other tags. Hand, thrown near, plus 1 damage, or remove the dangerous tag.
I'm doing plus 1 damage. and I don't know what hand means.
Hand means, well, let's look at so we'll get the equipment rules, because equipment is its own thing. So this tag, it's useful for attacking something within your reach, normally no further. Touch is you have to be able to. So hand is a typical tag for like a dagger.
Okay.
Right, but not like a short sword would be like close.
Okay. I will pick hand.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of just stabbed him in the face, or jabbed him in the face with this fiery hammer. But it's dangerous. So that's good to know. But that's 1 use. Okay.
I won't use dangerous.
It's automatically on there unless you have one of your you already have dangerous. It's
Understood.
by default.
Okay.
Oh, this is great. This is great. I love the immolator more now. Yeah, so takes it in the face.
Oh!
You have been cleansed by the flame.
Yeah, that seems about right. That's a good hit, though.
You've passed your first trial.
So behind Nice, you can all hear now this frantic fluttering sound. But you've, cracked your way through these stone discs. Do you want to continue down this tunnel or go down the other one that didn't have such a seal on it?
Nice. I would like to apologize for suggesting that you go through that trap. And
See, work out pretty well.
as I apologize, I would like to place a hand on Nice's shoulder and heal him.
Okay, so
That was my bad.
is that your cast a spell?
Yes, I'd like to cast a spell.
Okay, so roll plus wisdom.
Okay, 2d6 plus wisdom. That's I got a 10 plus 2, I got a 12.
Perfect. The spell is successfully cast, and your deity does not revoke the spell, so you may cast it again in the future.
Sweet.
So, which spell did you cast? I'm
Cure
guessing.
light wounds.
Okay, so heal an ally you touch of 1d8 damage.
Yes. Okay. 6.
Very nice.
Back up to full.
So the burn marks on your face. What is it? So is there a visible effect, Duncan, when you cast this healing magic? Is it visible to other people?
You see, Onos likes to lay hands on those who require his aid. So as I lay my hand upon Nice, this sort of soft blue light sort of emanates beneath my palm and spreads over the wound and sort of gently makes it disappear.
And so that burn mark heals away. Everyone else can see that as it soothes away, and now we're back to having beautiful dwarven face.
That tickles.
I'd also like to turn to Melisandre. Your deity seems cruel in their intentions.
My deity is neither cruel nor kind. Treat all equal.
Trial by fire seems harsh.
Not to those who can withstand the flame.
Plus, you can't have a good side of beef without a little fire, so.
It has its uses. I thought you looked better with the burn marks.
Well, thank you, friend. Let's just keep going, though, huh?
It is very likely they would have protected whatever was most valuable with the traps. So I could say we press on.
I like it. Yeah, I definitely switched up. I definitely changed the right person out.
Hey, so Melisandre, can you roll me plus wisdom as you
Yeah.
lead into the cavernous depths?
I'm actually good at this. 9.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
5 and a 1, but plus 3.
Plus, very glad that you had a modifier on that.
Yep.
So in your case, again, you get to choose. Do you want to get the drop on any danger, have a discovery, or be able to navigate back to this place?
Oh no. Well, I want to get a drop.
You want to
Yep.
be aware of the danger before you run into it.
Yeah.
That's good. So as you are moving into the darkness, but lit by Duncan's torch, that fluttering sound gets larger, and you come to an open area where there's a cave floor slick with guano. And as you look up, you see thousands upon thousands of bats fluttering there among the stalactites.
It sounds a little bit like dogs.
Apparently, hang on. Please close the door. Keep them quiet. So, yes, the dog bats. This is not canon. The fluttering sound you hear, some of them starting to yip and bark at each other.
Guano, huh?
What do you do?
Perhaps if we are intentional with our steps, we can continue undeterred.
Isn't guano like highly flammable?
Indeed. But you are aware of this danger.
I can't pass this up. I would like to, light the guano on fire.
What do the rest of you do when you see Melisandre reaching down to put fire to the guano all over the cave floor?
I want to try and protect them from themselves.
All right, this is good. So there's a move that called defend, which is when you stand in defense of a person, item, or location under attack. We could say defy danger as well, but we'll have that in a moment. Roll plus con.
Oh, all right, it's not as bad as it could have been. That's an 8.
8. Okay. You get one hold, and so long as you're standing in defense, you can spend that hold to either redirect an attack from the thing you defend to you, have the attack's effect or damage, and then the other two things don't really apply because they're not an attacker per se. You could open up the attacker to an ally to give a bonus to your ally's attack, or deal damage equal to your level to the attacker, but that doesn't really apply here. So, are you carrying a shield?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you step forward with your shield, that's good because the entire floor, you start to see flames racing out across it, and and some areas it starts to kind of explode a little bit, poof, poof, where there are deeper concentrations of what is it? Isn't it like saltpeter or nitrites or something like that in the guano?
Yeah, something.
And one of them is starting to explode near Bramble. So, is that what do you do? I heard that there was a defend. Do you want to spend your hold? Do you want to do something else? What do you all do?
I'm gonna have the damage that any damage that Melisandre because I see that they're about to do something dumb.
When Melisandre had started doing this, I pulled out a small leather-bound journal and began to write.
Taking notes on what you're seeing?
Using my bond on Melisandre, which is I'm writing a ballad about the adventures of him.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that was also using my bond, is I have to protect them from themselves.
Very good. So, you said you're having the damage? Okay. So, the shield blocks off part of the explosion, but as that small explosion happens, Bramble, you are pelted with a small amount of fire and debris from the ground, and you take 2 damage. This is the halved damage, because part of it was absorbed by the shield.
Paying a little more attention. That was very painful.
But now the dog bats are all stirred up. There are thousands of them swirling above you now. And you can see off in the distance, you can see that the tunnel leads ahead, but it leads through a bunch of stalagmites to get there. Like a field of stalagmites.
The path is covered in flame, right?
Some of it, yeah. It's like you're in a large cavern, so you could probably try to find your way through if you wanted.
Oh, no. I'm using Zuko style to bend the flames to my will. I have to roll wisdom.
All right. Oh, my Zuko style.
A little fire cave.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zuko style.
Protect us. Okay, 9.
9. So what is so let's look at Immolator.
Yeah, it's short-lived, it lasting only a moment on a 9.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna create an opening for us to move.
you're in an opening. If y'all want to move through, you'd better do it quickly.
Ithran?
I'm going to take out my shield and hold it over Bramble's head as we go.
That's good because now, as you look up, or if you look up, there's a rain starting. But it's not water. These thousands of bats have been startled, dog bats have been startled, and new water was falling into the flames. And
Sounds like
yeah, exactly.
Oop fire.
shitting explosives on us. This isn't cool.
And as you are running through, as you duck into a one of the corridors, one of the tunnels leading out of this cavern, and you see ahead of you several hunched, lurching humanoids leaping out towards you. Now, in Dungeon World, there is no initiative. We can, if there is combat or whatever, however you react to them, it's still just part of this conversation. However, as these humanoids are leaping out, this is a good time for us to take a quick break.
Okay.
So, we'll be back in about 5-10 minutes, and we'll return and see how y'all handle the Cavernites.
The Cavern Knights.
Fun. I mean, they're friendly.
This is going to turn into that movie, The Descent, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
I think I'm the lady at the end who tries to kill the other lady and then gets killed.
All right, so we're back in 5-10 minutes. Everybody grab a drink and do what you got to do. Be right back. Okay. And we are clear. All right. Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, good job.
Doing great.
Wow, good job.
Yeah.
Oh, my sound is still on. Why is it still? Oh. Okay. Everybody back. I got my wine that apparently I'm going to need to make it through with the way that Nice does things. And apparently Melisandre, who is very much about, there's no problem that can't be solved. Did Matt? Oh, you held so still that I thought your video died.
It did momentarily. I'm back.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So when we last left things, a half dozen cavern knights were coming out. These are these hunched over, lurching humanoids with bulging yellow eyes and this gray, scaly skin that kind of hangs off of their bones like wet cloth. And they are apparently, as far as you can tell, rushing directly for the torch held by Duncan. What do you do?
That's fine. I want to make the land safe for my friends before they get to us, because they take damage when they come into the space. So I'm going to do it before they get here. And just sort of hold my hands out and bring Onos's protection around my friends.
Okay. That sounds like you're trying to invoke a particular move?
I would like to cast a spell called Sanctuary.
Oh, let's see. Sanctuary. Okay.
Can I do that in combat?
So it says, as you cast the spell, you walk the perimeter of an area to consecrate it to your deity.
Okay.
As long as you stay within that, you're alerted whenever somebody acts with malice within that sanctuary.
Okay, that's more a sleepy time protection.
Yeah, that's more like alarm plus a benefit to healing.
Never mind then. I don't do that.
Then I'll say, come closer so you can get to me, ox. And I will, what are you waiting for? Cry out and challenge to try and convince them all to attack me and no one else.
So, this is going to be a defy danger with charm, because you're using charm in this case being like intimidation. Or do you have a specific move for it?
I have a starting move. What are you waiting for?
Oh!
Challenge to your enemies, roll plus con on a 10 plus. They treat you as the most obvious threat to be dealt with and ignore my companions. And I take plus 2 damage ongoing against them.
Nice. All right. So roll plus con. Let's see if you get that 10 plus.
No, I got 6.
So mark XP. It's my favorite thing to say.
Sorry, guys.
And you see all of them pull these little daggers, and I said there's 6 of them, so they are instead going to come at you and do some damage, doing 10 damage as they're all stabbing you, one of which is piercing. Piercing in Dungeon World means your armor counts as 1 less for the purpose of this attack.
So
So
they take all the damage?
So what's your armor right now? 1. Yes, so this is like you didn't have any armor, so you take 10 damage as the 6 of them just are slicing at you with their daggers. What do you all do? I mean, you asked for them.
That's true.
You're not wrong.
I'm gonna put my fingers in my belt loops. Say, don't worry, Nice. I got this, and I'm going to begin my arcane art. Take a step to the side, across, side, and tap. Side, cross, side, and tap. Back, and tap. Forward tap, back tap.
Are you doing the electric slide?
I'm doing the electric slide. I'm gonna call it the rock slide, though.
The rock slide!
And I'm going to try to heal him for 1d8.
Okay. That was amazing. What? Matt, he's not the worst. Perhaps he's the best of us. Yes, yes.
That is an 8.
I'm also really proud of myself for recognizing the specific
That's good.
dance that was happening there.
Very good.
But
Nice.
okay, yeah, heal that.
A 1d8, so I get 5.
Yeah, you got to roll it.
That's a 5.
All right.
Better than I was.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
now
yeah.
that they're all standing next to me, unless someone else does something, I'm just gonna start whacking at them.
I'm gonna bring down my fiery hammer on one of their skulls.
All
I'm
right.
gonna cast Bless on. Nice.
So let's do Melisandre's first. Melis, do you have a special, so you're using your weapon from before, right?
Yeah, so it's int instead of strength or dex.
Okay. So let's see. It also, you have fiery, touch, dangerous, hand, and +1 damage.
Yeah,
So you're kind of sliced, you have to be a little bit close to them.
it was fine.
And it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous, so dangerous.
What does that mean?
That's exactly what I was going to read to you. Well, when something is dangerous, if you interact, it's easy to get in trouble with it. If you interact with it without proper precautions, the GM may freely invoke the consequences of your foolish actions.
That's fine.
That's why I love it. It just gives me free reign to say, "Oh, that wasn't very smart. I get to do this." All right. So tell me how you're attacking them.
I'm just bringing down my fiery hammer and doing one of their just on their head, trying to anyway.
All right.
Got an 8.
You got an 8. So on hack and slash, on an 8, you deal your damage to the enemy, and the enemy makes an attack against you.
Perfect.
So roll your damage.
Okay. Big 3.
Big 3.
Oh, 4 total because it's +1.
Okay. Well, that's good. So you hit one of them pretty hard. But they then turn upon you to stab at you with their little daggers.
Okay. So I roll to avoid.
No, that was what when you rolled your 8,
Oh,
that's the result of that. They get to roll their damage against you. So these little Cavernites all turn on you with their daggers and stab into you, and you take 9 damage.
So it's odd damage, so I get to use fighting fire with fire. When you take damage and that damage is odd.
What? This is awesome!
So I can roll 1d4 and add that many uses to my burning hand. Take that result forward to summon my burning brand or reduce the damage. I'll just reduce the damage.
Okay.
Oh, big 1.
You know what? That's more than 0.
Yeah. So 8 points.
All right. Now, Duncan, you were casting Bless.
Yeah, I was thinking that my friend here, Nas, could do some real damage, but he just might need a little help. And Onos really helps those in need, so I'm gonna just sort of reach out to Duncan and bless him.
All right. Can you roll plus wisdom?
Yes, I can. Oh. Well, that's a 1 and a 4 plus 2, so
That's a 7.
7.
Ooh, that's good. Ooh, 1 less, and it would have been not so great. So the spell is cast, but you choose one. Either you draw unwelcome attention or put yourself in a spot. You take -1 ongoing to cast the spell until the next time you can commune with your deity. Or after it's cast, the spell is revoked and you can't cast it again until you commune.
Well, I already get a -1 just keeping the spell ongoing, so I don't want to take a -2. So I'm gonna forget the spell.
Okay. Yep. So this is the last time you can cast Bless until you can take time to, it's basically like preparing spells in 5e, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what does Bless do?
It grants a +1 ongoing to anything Nice does as long as the battle continues and you don't go down.
Yeah, as long as you're standing and fighting, which is a thing. I mean, as long as Nice stands and fights, right? Oh no, as long as they stand and fight. Right. Yep. Okay. So Nice. Well, actually, Duncan, what do people see or hear? What's the effect? Is there any visible or auditory or other effect that people can see or hear when this happens?
This same blue glow that came when I healed Nice earlier, it actually, the bless kind of comes from that same spot, but it spreads across the body, almost forms like an additional glowing armor on top of your torso.
Nice. What do you do? Nice.
Well, I have a question for you,
Yeah.
GM.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is for fame and glory?
Normally I would say no, but you have a bard that might be interested in somehow capturing this moment. So if the bard were doing that and it was clear to you, then sure.
All right. So I'll yell something like, "Bramble, get a good scripture of this," and I'll try and hit something.
Okay.
Oh, thank God I have good strength. That's actually an 8 instead of a 6.
That's very good that
Plus
you
one.
have 8. So again,
9.
so roll your damage.
Let's see. And messy and forceful don't do anything to damage. I'm just making
Nope,
sure.
nope. It's part, but it does affect the fiction, and in Dungeon World, that's possibly even more. It's at least as important.
Okay, just checking that there wasn't anything else I was forgetting. I said D10. That's 7.
7.
Is
Oh,
it 8?
say
No. On +1 ongoing affects the move roll. It doesn't affect the damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So how much you said you did? 7. Okay. So here's what happens. What's your weapon? It's the axe.
it's an axe.
Yeah. So tell me first how you're attacking.
Pretty standard. Just cutting up, because I'm assuming being a dwarf, I'm slightly smaller than these guys. So
I mean, you're basically fighting Gollum. So
I'm kind of cutting up at them to try and basically take out their legs from underneath them, so that I can smash them. So I'm basically trying to cut out their legs out from underneath them.
So as you bring it around up and across in sort of a wide swath, one of them you bisect right through him. And as that happens, your blow continues through and hits the one next to him, and it lodges in his side, and there's this spurt of blood and guts as the one you kill falls in half, and this one, you pull it back out, and he is looking down, and you can now start to see his intestines coming out. He's still alive for the moment, but clearly not for long. The other 4 that are there are looking at you, and they start to have fear in their eyes, but they howl at you as they attack you for 8 damage, 1 piercing. What do you do? What do you all do, I should say?
I laugh.
Wipe the sweat from my brow, and I'm gonna keep dancing.
I'm still dancing.
Can I use the same thing again? Arcane Art, try to heal him.
Okay.
It's better. That's a 10 plus.
So you get the selected effect. What was it you had before? What was it when you rolled charisma? I forgot.
It was, what did I get before? What did I roll?
Yeah.
I rolled an 8 before.
Oh, okay. Well, I should have. This was on me. The spell would have still worked, but you would have drawn unwanted attention or the magic river into other targets. But it's fine. So you healed him for damage again?
Mm-hmm. That's a 5.
Nice. Consistent.
So now you've got one that's dead, one that's about to die. The other 4 are swarming on Nice.
I'll attack the one that's about to die.
Okay. How are you attacking him?
With my burning brand.
Okay, so this is the last use of that one, right?
Yep.
Okay. So roll your attack. 8.
Yep.
All right. So roll your damage.
Okay. 8 total.
All right. So, yeah, you certainly, actually, as you do this, the fire that you hit one of them with, that one that you kill, envelops another one. This fire swirls around it, and one of the other ones is so close to it that it swirls around their arm and envelops them completely. And actually, you kill 2 of them at once, and another one gets slightly singed, and they shriek and start to try to run away into little crannies in the tunnel. What do you all do?
Sorry, based on my partial success or whatever, they would have gotten to attack me.
Oh, yes, they get to roll their damage against you, which is not going to be a lot this time. It's going to be 5, 1
That's
piercing.
odd. I get to roll my d4.
Yeah.
I'm going to reduce it. I reduce it by 4. So
Okay.
I take 1 damage.
Take 1 damage, and it's 1 piercing.
Nice.
So if you have armor, you don't have armor though, right?
I know. God,
Okay,
no.
that doesn't matter.
See, I just bring a bit of that fire from that dead one's corpse, and I block the attack.
Yeah, and the one of them just is trying to slash at you. It just you block most of it, and then you hear them scream, "Run away! Run away! Run away!" What do you all do?
Are they all fleeing?
Yes, there are 3 of them still alive.
And they're all running away.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to cause fear, but they're already afraid.
All right.
I mean, you decide what you want to do.
Hey, don't come back.
Now I'm going to cast my sanctuary. Because they're running, so I'm going to just sort of I'm going to walk around and sort of circle everyone and create sort of a 10-foot circle and be like, we're going to take a pause and allow Onos's graces to come upon us and try to heal everybody.
All right. So 2 things. As you hear them running away, you hear echoing down the corridor from them. They're yelling. You hear not sure if it's a word or a name. Trindoreg! 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 And second of all, for Sanctuary, if you can roll your cast a spell.
Okay. Which the battle is over, so I don't have that -1, correct? Or is it?
Correct. The bless is over and you can't cast bless again.
Okay, so that's 8 plus wisdom, so 10.
Okay, so your spell is successfully cast. So for Sanctuary, you'll be alerted if anybody acts with malice or entering with harmful intent, and anybody who receives healing within the Sanctuary gets an additional D4 healed.
Nice.
Yep.
I'm going to say, but you think we should, I don't think we should have let them flee.
The battle will be more glorious later. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
We have a perfectly. Are the fires still roaring in the previous tunnel?
I think so. Yeah, I think it would be.
We have perfectly good means to dispose of our enemies, and a flame to sacrifice them to. We shouldn't have let them leave.
If our enemies are fleeing in terror, they are no longer our enemies. To attack them now would be cruel.
The sinful are at their most dangerous when they're afraid.
I am here to help, not to murder.
I am here to help as well, by letting the fire burn the wicked.
I'm going to reach out and put a hand on your chest. Perhaps you do not know what wicked is. I'm going to cast Cure Light Wounds on you.
Thanks.
I will note, Anders, and that totally works. Well, you got to cast a spell,
Right.
But as you get closer to Melisandre, that sword that you picked up earlier, the glow that I mentioned gets just a tiny bit more intense as you draw near to Melisandre. Not a lot, just a tiny bit from the light.
Okay.
Just letting you know. But yeah, hit your cast a spell for.
Yeah. That's that's a 12.
Very nice.
I am healed to full, and as they touch me, I am going to put my hand on the hand that you have on my chest, and I'm going to gaze intensely into your eyes. I'm going to ask you, what fuels the flames of your desire? Which triggers my give me fuel, give me fire move. It says, you may ask the player, what fuels the flames of your desire? They'll answer with the truth, even if the character does not know or would otherwise keep this hidden.
Okay.
So what fuels the flames of your desire?
Does that just happen? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all.
So quick thing though, on the HP.
Yeah,
The-
that was not me. That was not my healing roll.
Right, that was in the
casting.
heal roll. That was just the roll to succeed on casting the spell.
Yeah, so it's a D8 and then an additional +1 because of Sanctuary.
The an additional plus D4. So it's D8 plus
D4,
D4.
yes, yeah. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So 6 + 2, so 8. So not 12.
Okay. And then yeah, so the thing is, even if the character doesn't exactly know, or would keep it hidden, what fuels the flames of your desire?
I feel like Nice comes up to Bramble and is like, snack?
Bramble is still dancing.
So Nice is just there by himself. Like,
Is Bramble's dancing still healing?
He's gonna try one more time, yeah. How you feeling? How you feeling? Nice? Is it
it's probably gonna hurt in the morning.
Let me do one more chorus. I'm gonna try one more time.
All right.
So we're still in that sanctuary though, right? So this would be plus a D4 as well if he succeeds.
If he succeeds, you'll get an extra D4 of healing.
9. It's not a full success.
So your spell still works, but you draw unwanted attention, or your magic reverberates to other targets, affecting them as well. GM's choice. So go ahead and roll your D8 plus D4 for the healing.
Yeah, it's a 3 and a 3. So
And as you're doing that, as you're doing your steps, and you said you're playing your pipes at the same time, right?
well, he started and then he kind of put it away and just started dancing. It's
Okay.
more of a dancer than a player.
Right. As your healing magic takes effect, is there any visible thing to Nice as it's happening? This dancing is, you got the magic toes.
Yeah, every time Bramble takes a step on the ground, you see a faint green glow where his footprint just was, and it starts to kind of coalesce in energy that feeds into his companions.
As you are doing your dance, that green glow, some of it, yeah, the footprint or whatever kind of lifts off, swirls around nice, but after a few minutes, you see that some of it starts to expand out and take the form of 3 heads. You all see floating there in the air among you these floating green auras of 3 heads. And then they swirl off and fly off into the darkness in the direction in which you were headed.
Can I get an answer to my question?
Yeah.
I was just giving them a few minutes to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have done something inexcusable and unforgivable. I must do good to repent.
I'll release their hand and say, only through fire can you truly be repentant.
Very well. Any other things that you're going to do while you are here in the sanctuary?
I'm gonna walk away and I would like to receive some guidance because I have been tested, and I would like to speak to Onos because I can redeem myself through him. So I would like to receive his guidance and not the guidance of a pagan, cruel creature of flame.
I mean, I've been told that you have to be cruel to be kind, but when you petition your deity according to the precept of religion, you are granted. When you petition your deity according to the precept of your religion, you are granted some useful knowledge or boon related to your deity's domain. The GM will tell you what. That's an interesting one. I need to think about that for a minute.
I'm just gonna look up back the way we came and oh Onos, father to the fatherless, am I with good people? Am I doing good things?
What does is Onos commonly represented in some way? Like, is he? Or do people make images of him or not? And if they do, what does he typically look like? Or if they don't, is there a reason or something else?
I think that Duncan has tried to model himself after what he believes Onos looks like, and Onos is generally represented as a old man in basic habit robes, the bald head. So Onos tries to model that and look like that. Or Duncan tries to look like that, sorry.
Right, no, I got you. Duncan, as you close your eyes and pray and petition your deity, for a moment, you see, none of the rest of you see this. This is just, you're kind of still imagining yourself there in this tunnel, really. And in your mind, Duncan, you see Patrick Stewart step out. Bald, but super handsome.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And He smiles at you, reaches out to pat your head, and, my child, you are in a place of great darkness, and those who accompany you attempting to bring light to that darkness. You must be the conduit that will bring them to my holy light. They are not evil, but they need our guidance. He smiles and disappears into just sparkles.
Thank you, Father. I will do your good work.
So now what do you all do?
I'm just gonna stand in the fire.
Did we see Sparkle Stewart?
No, you did not.
Just curious.
This was just in Duncan's like vision as he was, praying.
I'm just standing in whatever fire is nearby because it's where I feel at home.
Okay.
Well, that lake's not going to find itself, is it?
No, I don't suppose so. And we have to kill this three-headed, whatever that was called.
Yeah, that was right creepy.
Let's go find it and burn it.
I feel like maybe, Bramble, your fit had been too loose and you're letting loose weird things.
I'll try to tighten up my steps next time. Or to keep those hips on lock.
I mean, I've been told they don't lie, so.
I've heard stories.
So, as you are waiting and thinking about what you're going to do, there's a sudden chorus of but it's echoing and it's reverbing and it's multiplying all around you. What do you do?
Going to discern reality.
All right.
Follow the tunnel.
Yeah. As we're kind of venturing forward more past it, and we kind of leave our previous scene behind, so to speak, I'm going to start. Since that voice is now echoing through the cabin.
So who is leading the way?
Me.
Okay, so if you could first roll plus wisdom.
8.
8.
That's the only thing I can roll. Wait, yeah, 8. Yeah, 8.
Okay, so do you want to be able to determine not determine, but to get the advantage on any danger ahead? Do you want to have a discovery, or do you want to be able to navigate your way back to the last place you paused?
The middle one, the discovery.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. So the tunnel is starting to widen out, both and grow in diameter in general. So what is the you want to discern realities. You're just kind of tell me how it is that what you're doing to check things out around you.
So I think as that voice kind of echoes through the cavern, I'm definitely listening to it. And then I am just looking. I'm kind of looking to see, like on the walls and up at the ceiling. I'm just kind of looking to see like the general disturbance in the area, trying to get a sense of what's in front of me, actually in front of me.
All right. So let's roll discern realities. So roll plus wisdom again.
Here it comes again. 8.
Really?
I keep rolling a 4, a 1, a 4, a 1.
All right, so you get one of those questions. What happened here recently? What's about to happen?
What's about to happen?
What should I be on the lookout for? What's useful or valuable? Who's really in control? Or what here is not what it appears to be?
What's about to happen?
What's about to happen? You're listening carefully. And what you can hear up ahead of you all, that the rest of you don't hear yet, is you hear the soft lapping of water on a shore. And you can hear within that soft lapping of water the occasional small splash, bloop, bloop. Not like regular dripping of water, but like something moving in the water.
I believe the lake, or at least part of it, perhaps a tributary, is up ahead and has a creature inside of it. That's what I'm guessing. Shall we press forward?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I have been. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Andrews.
I have been told by my god to create laughs, and this sword that I picked up has been glowing in both now firelight and moonlight, so I would like to take that sword out and kind of hold it so it's a little near Melisandre, but just be ready for enemies, which is also aware.
Again, as it gets close to Melisandre, that moonlight glow just increases just fractionally. Not much. It's almost hard to tell. It's like, when you have a dimmer switch and you think it's at the top, and it's not quite at the top, and you just barely bump it and it goes up just a little bit, but not a lot. As you get closer to that water, however, you can see occasional ripples in the water of something moving. As you look out upon this subterranean lake, you can see on the other side from where you are a large carved semicircle, almost like an amphitheater area across it. You also see that it disappears. It's a lake, but it's a lake that's, since you're in a cave that sort of runs long ways, side to side, so it disappears off into the darkness to your left and right. But that kind of amphitheater area is almost directly ahead of you. What do you do?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't muted. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's a shame about the lake. That means that this place can't be consumed by fire yet. I'm just gonna move towards the water because it's my enemy.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
Nice will walk up to the edge of the lake and just go, "Oi! These thieves! We're here to kill you!"
Okay. Well, right in front of you, Nice, you see rising up out of the water like a telescoping tower, doop, 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 a sack-like kind of body, but the body is really just concentric sets of teeth attached to a stomach, and these 6 impossibly long white legs extend out from this sack. And you hear emanating from these teeth, like it's just kind of clacking together, and it turns toward you, and those 6 legs almost like they shrug a little bit, like okay, and are coming towards you. Now, what do you do? This thing is large.
I would like to channel the might of Onos into this sword and cast a spell on it.
I like to look back at Brambles and say, Brambles, write this down! And I jump and try to get this thing.
Okay, so we'll resolve those in order. First of all, Duncan, you were casting a spell?
Yep.
All right.
You
So,
cast magic weapon on the weapon. to
all
make
right.
it stronger.
Okay.
Wow. That's a 9.
It's a 9. All right. So which of your
8. That's an 8. I don't think that changes it. It's an
no,
8.
it doesn't. But which of the complications do you choose?
I will forget how to cast magic weapon.
Okay.
Because I already cast it, so I don't need to cast it again.
All right. So this weapon, now the sword that you're casting, that as you get close to it, by the way, as you get close to that monster, remember how I said that before it got fractionally brighter near Melisandre, rather?
Mm-hmm.
Now it gets way brighter. Not a teeny tiny bit, but flares with the light of the angry moon. And as you're drawing close to it, nice. You said you were attacking?
Leaping at it and trying to cut it as I'm yelling, I'm screaming at Brambles to write this down.
Can I do something before he actually connects?
Depends. What is it?
I would like to just. Ramble's gonna take a step to the side, together and forward, side together and back. I'm gonna do a little box step while I'm writing down his tails. Cast a little spell.
So I'm gonna say that's gonna take a little bit longer than his
Okay.
leap. So it'll be for the next thing that he does.
Sure.
That's fine. So yeah, nice. Give us your hack and slash.
But do I know that now I am acting for fame and glory?
Yeah, we're gonna assume that you've already kind of got the idea that this guy's open.
That means I get to roll a d8
Yep.
and a d6 rather than a 2d6. Oh no, okay. The d8 got away. Hang on. So excited. Okay, so that's an 11. Nope. That's a 13.
Oh.
And the d6 is not the higher of the pairs. You can't also introduce a complication. So yeah, I do a d10 worth of damage, and it also doesn't get an attack on me because I rolled above a 10, right? That's 8.
So 8 damage.
8 damage.
All right. So making sure. Okay. So I have food on the way. I want to make sure that wasn't that. Okay. So as you bring your axe into it, you slice off one of those long white legs, and as it falls into the water, you can see the water out here is actually not that deep. Maybe 3 or 4, maybe like 4 feet deep. Like it would be uncomfortable to wade through it, but you can easily swim it. And as the leg falls into the water, you see it almost kind of melt and dissolve into the water as it's detached from the main body. And now the bard was attempting to weave a performance into a basic spell, yes?
Yes, doing that nice box step. I'm gonna try to. Ooh, that's a 12.
Okay, so you get to put an effect on one of your allies.
I'm gonna give it nice 1d4 forward to damage plus 1d4.
Okay.
Maxi.
So now what do you all do?
I'm going to conjure a weapon of pure flame. I'm going to try to.
All right, let's get that roll in there.
It's a con roll. 10. No. 6 plus 1 plus 2. 9.
Okay, so you can choose one of those either tags or remove the dangerous tag.
Okay. I mean, what good does making it thrown do me, really?
Means you could throw it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still going to get an attack on me if I throw it, right? Like, the system doesn't care, right?
No, it does. If you're at range,
Yeah.
It becomes a volley, not a hack and slash. And volley has different effects.
Okay.
But it's up to you.
I'm going in. +1 damage. It's touch.
All right. So you've taken this moment to kind of conjure this. We already saw that Duncan was invoking Onos as he rushed in with his Moonblade.
Yeah.
So, Duncan, what are you doing with that? Are you rushing into attack with that?
I'm going to join my companions in this holy fight.
Man, the monster hasn't even gotten to attack anybody yet. So make your hack and slash roll.
It's a 9. Do I plus anything, or is it
Plus, you add your strength modifier.
What is my strength modifier? It's a 10.
All right. You deal your damage and avoid the monster's attack, or you could expose yourself to its attack and add an extra d6 damage.
Okay. I will expose myself to an attack.
All right.
Let it lay its spider-like limbs upon me and not those of my friends.
Wow. Eggs inside of you.
So I'm gonna roll a
so you roll-
d6.
You roll your class damage.
Okay, so a d6.
You add a d4 for your magic weapon.
Magic. Okay, so 3 plus 3, and then I roll another d6.
For your extra
10. So 10 total. 3,
10
3, and 4.
total. Okay. As you draw close to it, as you're coming in with your magic sword, and you're slicing up into these concentric rings of teeth, right? And and just kind of stabbing into it. It's as you are, you're kind of jabbing into it. Its grinding maw closes for a moment on your arm and does 6 damage, ignoring armor, as it chomps on your arm. But it doesn't matter because this sword, as you stab into it, flares with almost blinding bright white light, as if from the moon itself, and the teeth explode everywhere, and the monster collapses into the lake. What do you do?
I turn to my companions. That is the power of Onos.
Do we see what kind of creatures the water conceals? Wretched and destructive.
I got its arm. Remember, I got its arm.
Power aside, I do think you found that sword like 15 minutes ago.
Also true. I found the sword. Double credit.
And I'll finish off my dance with one more. I'd like to try one more time to heal Duncan.
All right.
9. So to get a 10.
So it's a 10 total?
No, it's 9 total.
9 total. Oh, very nice. Are you playing? So you're playing the pipes a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
A little bit as I can use the box step.
All right. Yeah. So you can roll your d8 for the healing.
Yeah, I think it's 6.
All right. Very good. As you're playing those pipes, you start to hear a counter melody playing within the cavern.
Uh-oh.
And you hear, as that counter melody is playing, you hear once again all around you, What do you do?
finish playing my song. Just kind of put it away afterward. After my healing is done.
You seem to have a rival in the caverns.
Ooh, Bramble Donovan has no rival.
Alright, creepy fuck, come and show yourself!
Roll plus con. Nice. You cry out a challenge to your enemies.
Is it still for fame and glory?
Oh yeah, no, that is definitely fame and glory. No question.
Again. Oh my god! I rolled a 6. I rolled a 1 and a 4. So luckily the D8 is not higher, or the D6 is not higher than the D8, but...
Oh, that's so good.
Welcome to my world. 1 and 4, 1 and 4.
You hear several voices
Time out, dice.
arguing. Which one should we eat first? Well, one of them is overdone.
The other one looks a little bit gristly.
What do you do? So again, you have the lake in front of you. You can see on the other side an amphitheater with something glowing in it. And there are... The lake itself kind of extends off into the darkness to your left and right.
Okay.
And obviously the shore goes along it, so you could follow along the shore if you wish.
I personally like to go towards the glowing light in the amphitheater.
All right. For anyone who wants to swim the black waters of the subterranean lake, please roll plus con.
Oh, that actually goes.
What kind of a dwarven barbarian is so afraid of everything?
I'm not afraid of everything. I don't like water. It's very evil.
9.
And it drowns people in full plate armor.
Okay. Is anyone else swimming?
Yeah, it's also going to be a 9 for me.
All right.
I will swim if Bramble swims because I have to protect him. That's my bond.
Yeah.
All right. So roll plus con.
Is swimming for glory? No, I'm just kidding.
7.
Every time.
7. Okay.
12.
12.
I don't want to swim, but I'm fucking good at it apparently.
Yeah. So I have a question. Nice. In your homeland, is swimming a thing you're used to doing? Is that something that you're accustomed to?
No, you see, most of the bodies of open water are not open, they're frozen solid. So ice skating is a thing we do quite naturally, but swimming is for the time your mother yells at you when you're a wee lad and tells you to take the bath once a year. But other than that, no.
Okay. Well, as the three of you, Duncan, Melisandre, and Bramble, you swim a fair distance across this lake, but your limbs begin to go numb from the cold water, and you're just having trouble making it across. And as you look down, you see bones carpeting the floor of the lake. And you're starting to lose the ability to go forward. However, Nice, before your body is rendered, completely insensate by the cold, you reach sort of a large boulder protruding out of the water. But you see your friends getting not way behind you and getting slower and slower and starting to sag a little bit in the water. And you also see bones just everywhere under the black waters of this underground lake. What do you do?
I just kind of and then jump back in the water and try and save my friends.
All right, so that sounds like a defy danger By either enduring or powering through. So you can roll either plus strength or plus con.
I prefer to roll strength.
Okay.
Ooh, that was almost bad. It turned out to be good. That's 12.
12. Yeah, so you reach them in your big, beefy dwarven arms. You grab a couple of them and maybe they're kind of all holding on to each other, so you kind of have a chain of them behind you. And you're pulling and you're pushing. And the water's getting cold, and all of you can start to feel yourself starting to lose feeling in your toesies and your fingersies. But eventually, Nice gets you up to this boulder, and you're able to just climb onto it. And you are maybe about 2/3 of the way across the lake, but now you are in the middle of this lake. What do you do? Duncan, what's your cat's name?
This is Prim.
Prim is happy.
It's a powerful cold swim. Melisandre, could you maybe heat up this big old bath?
Heat up the water. Unfortunately, no, it's incredibly massive, and the Lord of Light has not granted me such gifts yet. Others in my order could, but I am not powerful enough yet, unfortunately. But I can warm up. So I'm gonna pull out a torch and.
Are you just lighting a torch, or are you bending the flame to your will?
I'm gonna bend the flame to my will.
All right. So first of all, mark off a use of adventuring gear to light the torch.
Yep.
And then roll plus wisdom.
Ruh-roh.
8.
So the flame that burns for twice as bright burns half as long, and so as the flame, you see it turn into this large, shape of flame, and you feel yourself just starting to warm up. Your clothes starting to dry just a little bit, and it sputters and goes back down to the regular lighting. So you've all kind of gotten a little bit back. You've dried it a little bit, but it's not as long as you would have liked.
Perhaps we should attempt to move forward, but with additional means, and I'll pull out a rope. And perhaps, Nice, you seem to fare the best in these waters. You could swim across with this, and we could use it to aid ourselves across.
That could work.
All right. So you're going to dive back into the water?
This is. And then kind of like try to psych myself up and run around in place for a second and then jump in the water.
All right. Can you roll plus con?
I mean, I can.
Can I bless Nice real quick before Nice jumps in?
Didn't you lose bless?
You did.
Oh, I did. You're right. Never mind.
That's a 9.
9. So again, you're getting to the other shore, pulling this rope behind you, and your limbs start to get cold and numb, and you're seeing these bones everywhere, and you just managed to get onto the shore, kind of sputtering and cold and shivering. Pull yourself out of the water, but you kind of curl up and are cold. You're there, you're out of the water, but your arms, you can barely feel them right now. This water is cold as my soul.
I am just going to look at whoever the hell I'm with there and say, the flame of truth and the Lord of Light will protect me. I'm going to swim as well.
Okay, can you roll plus con?
Hey, 10!
10! Yes. You haul yourself out. You are standing over Nice, and while you are somewhat chilled, your inner flame has never mind. Your inner flame has just managed to keep you warm and burning as you reach the other side.
That's awesome. It actually worked. Basically prayed to my god and it worked.
So, the other two of you. So you're going to be helping with the rope on that. Is that right?
Basically, I'm gonna try and like
We lost
serve as a-
Melisandre for a minute. Oh, no, he's back.
serve as a winch.
Yeah.
Winch.
Winch.
I don't know.
Winch.
Yep.
We have no winches in this group. So, if Melisandre, since you're the one that made it across most easily, can you roll plus bond to aid your friends? So it's 2d6 plus 1 plus 2 because you're helping both of them. You have a bond with both Duncan and Bramble, correct?
Okay. No. Well, no. Duncan has a bond with me.
You don't have. Do you have a bond with either of them?
Or Bramble, yeah.
Okay, so add plus 1 to your 2d6. This is to aid them.
8.
8. Okay, so they get to add a plus 1 to their rolls, but you expose yourself to danger, retribution, or cost.
All right.
So if both Duncan and Bramble can roll plus con to swim across, but add an extra 1 to your roll.
10.
It's 9 for me.
Even with the extra plus 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
11.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah, by holding on to it and remembering what it is that Melisandre said before he went across, that the Lord of Light would also protect you, Duncan makes it across, and all of you see Bramble. He's not wearing really good adventuring gear. He's dressed in fine clothing as he's swimming through this underground lake, and you can see him getting slower and slower, and he's not getting there. Somebody better help him out, or he's going to be among those bones in the lake.
Gonna try to pull him with me.
Okay. You're just making it through, so why don't we defy danger with either strength or constitution?
Okay, I'm gonna go they're the same, doesn't matter. That is a 7.
A 7. I see. So Melisandre is holding this rope as you've gone back into the water, while Nice is still laying there on the ground shivering, trying to recover his warmth. You're going back out into the water to protect your friend, which is fantastic, but you're realizing that you're getting cold and you may not make it there and back. Oh yeah, Emma, you come back to them making it through this cold water that's covered. The floor of the lake is covered in bones. And you can make it, but you're probably going to have to drop something to lighten your load.
I will drop my shield.
Okay. And with that, you're able to put your arm around Bramble, kind of get him, and pull yourself back. And now, cold, wet, and shivering, you are all on this shore of this lake. But as you look into this sort of natural amphitheater, at the center of it, you see a large pedestal with several torches lit around it. And on that pedestal, a crudely hewn figurine of some greenish stone, which looks like sort of a bipedal creature with 3 dogs. Oh, sorry, 3 dogs. I was reading Matt's comment. With 3 heads.
Aw,
They're not dog heads. They're not like the bats. There's 3 heads on this figurine. What do you do?
A false idol to a false god.
Hey, it's smashing time.
Yes. Yes, it
At
is.
least agree upon that.
Bramble's gonna just warm up next to one of the torches.
Okay, so Bramble's warming next to the torches. I was having. What are the other three of you doing?
We're
I'm just
smashing.
agreeing with Melisandre that at least this is evil.
Oh, you're smashing the idol.
Yeah, it's a false idol.
All right. It doesn't take much. You were able to smash that all. You were able to smash it into tiny bits. There's no particular magical protection on it or anything like that. You are, as it smashes, you hear from off in the distance. No! Now, in this amphitheater, you can see, sort of towards the back of it, another staircase that leads down into, further down into the earth. Or you could try to swim back. What do you do?
We're going deeper.
All right, who's going to take point?
I will.
Okay, can you roll plus wisdom?
I'll be right behind them.
10, finally.
10. You can choose 2 from that list. You can get the advantage on the danger, you can get a discovery, or be able to navigate your way back.
There's no turning back for us. The first 2.
Okay. So I'll keep in mind that about the danger. As you continue forward, you reach a room that has, it's a semicircular opening in the rock, and there are 3 doors here, 2 of which are kind of broken and they're made of stone. Oh, food's here. They are broken, kind of hanging on their hinges, but one of them, which has sigils around its circumference, seems to be humming to itself.
Susa, is that you?
I'm just gonna look at Bramble.
Oh, I'll take a quick look with my my expertise in these matters of.
Oh, that's true. You do have a thing for that. So you can ask me one question about it, and I will answer it truthfully.
What is the purpose of these singing of these things? What is their purpose here?
Oh, this is you've seen before. These are magic doors that must be in some way reasoned with or convinced to open. What have you heard about these magic doors?
I've heard of the tale of the stingy singing doors.
The stingy singing doors. Okay.
These doors will take a little bit of convincing for us to get through.
Well, you're very convincing.
Oh, well, thank you. And I'll try to talk to the doors.
Quit flirting with me.
He's gonna go flirt with the door.
All right. As you get closer to the door, the sigils around its circumference glow white. And the humming stops and it says, no.
We're just trying to get on through this. I'm Randall Donovan. And these are my friends. And we're just looking to pass through your beautiful gates. How can we come to an agreement so we can do that?
Well,
It's so good that you speak to me respectfully. It just doesn't happen that often down here. Usually those foul creatures come through and they just throw their poop.
We will not shit here. We are all about respect and kindness.
I see. It is for the best that you keep your shit to yourself, as you say. What do you offer me to proceed?
Bramble looks back at the party and then looks in his pocket. I do have one gold coin. I can go as high as 2. Do you need a fancy new knob, perhaps a nice ebony inlay on those handles?
And where would I spend your coin?
A nice doorsmith who's looking to just make you better and stronger. Or handsome, maybe a nice painting on there.
Would one of you paint me? Yes, this would be fine.
Oh, I'll paint you. I'll paint you up and down.
So, can you roll Parley, which is 2d6 plus Charisma?
That's a 12.
The doors swing open, and it says,
Hey, paint me now, paint me later. Just make sure you don't leave me wet.
Well, makes you nice and dry before I leave.
No.
And I'll wink at the door as I pass through, leading the way.
Remember me on your way back.
Well, I'll give you a nice paint down. My brush starts wet and then it gets nice and dry.
So somebody said earlier in chat, this is the time. Yes, it was Emma. We've reached the I would like to seduce the door portion of the evening, and apparently that was true.
We were always going to run.
Man, I'm sweating.
Ty has an effect on me.
Yeah, he does.
My true class.
Yeah.
Very good. You progress further in, and you reach a room at the end of this filled with bones. And again, you smell that. Can't you smell that smell? That pudding smell I mentioned before. The smells like a mixture of rotten clams, sour milk, moldy raisin bread, burnt cinnamon, and dripping, drip, 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 water from stalactites to stalagmites, which are everywhere. The stalactites hanging from the top, the stalagmites rising up like mountains from the ground. See how I did that? And there are carvings all around the walls of goblins being consumed by trolls. Which is interesting because you see standing in front of you, among this group, among all these bones with the water dripping and these horrifying carvings of trolls devouring goblins, this monstrous giant with 3 heads carrying a stone hammer. And one of the heads speaks and says, "Oh, you have come to Treadorag. Oh. What do you do?"
Yes, we have come come on behalf of many different. We've come on behalf of at least 2 different gods with many different interests. We've come to test you.
But I just want money.
He just wants money.
The troll, it's wearing sort of a furry cloak. And it's got these massive shoulder, like pauldrons within it. And it's kind of moving its shoulders. And you hear one of the heads there speak and say,
Oi! What kind of money you think we got, eh?
I don't know, but there might be a reward for a 3-headed beastie, so your heads, I guess.
3 heads. And he shrugs his shoulders and the cloak falls off. And those are not pauldrons. Those are 2 more heads on his shoulders. This is a 5-headed troll.
Great. The price just went up by 2.
Well, here's what I know about gold.
Oh, yes. People's for eating and gold is for keeping.
I generally followed those rules too. Except for the people eating part.
Those are just 2 rules, and you're only keeping one of them. You seem like the gristly one.
If that is your way of saying I am well muscled and hot, I appreciate the compliment.
And it steps forward, and as it does, you can see the bones in this cavern start to rattle.
Come closer, gristly one.
What do you do?
I have heard in legend that trolls are quite averse to the flame. Tell me, will you be a willing or unwilling sacrifice to the fire? I still have my burning brand, I guess, so I'm gonna brandish it, hold it up, or conjure me when I don't give a shit.
As you do, it laughs. All of its head laugh all at once, and it's that same reverberating sound that you heard before. But crawling out from under the bones come 3 of those cavern knights.
Oh, wow.
Carrying sharp bone daggers that are just, all they really are is femurs where the end has been whittled down to a sharp point.
That would be an unwilling sacrifice, though.
What do you do?
I'll approach as asked. But, ready for a fight.
Sure. So the 3 little cavern knights rush towards you, sharpened femurs at the ready, looking like as if they're going to stab you. What do you do?
Cut them down.
All right. Roll your hack and slash. They are prepared for your melee attack, so this is definitely
Is this
hack and
for
slash.
fame and glory?
Is it? You tell me.
Not this time. Oh,
Okay.
No. Well, it's gonna be pretty shitty roll, whatever it is. Alright, I lost that D6. It's dark in here.
I know this feeling all too well.
Oh no, that's a 6. I'm gonna level up in this one shot, y'all.
So so mark XP.
That's 5.
Yeah, for those who don't know, when you take a rest, like for several hours, if you have your level plus 7 in XP, you level up. You subtract that amount from your XP. You can carry over any excess, obviously. In other words, you get to increase a stat by 1, and you get to choose from a new move, and etc. So, in your case, what is it that you do that you're unable to hit them? Why is it you're unable to hit them with your axe?
I think I went to step forward and I didn't realize that there was the bones were as extensive as they are in here, and I like slipped. I'm like, oh! And I just beef it.
So as you do, your ankle gets twisted in the bones, and you're kind of stuck there for the moment until you take a moment to free yourself, and you are instead stabbed for 8 damage, including that's 1 piercing.
God damn it. Stop attacking me with piercing weapons.
What do the rest of you do? Dog wants to know. Ozzy wants to know what you're doing.
The dog mats are coming.
Yeah, the dog mats are coming.
Yeah, the dog. Yeah, you hear the yipping. Yep.
I'm just gonna take my burning brand and hit one of these whatever they're called,
Cavernites. Yeah, hit your hack and slash.
The old +1.
Mark XP, and what happens is you're going in for them. They see it coming. They recognize your burning brand now and drop out of the way. But here's the other reason they do that is they see what's coming that you don't see, and that's Treaderag bringing around his stone hammer. Let me get the right dice. And he does 9 damage to you. And it smacks you so hard that you go flying and you land on your back.
I'm going to reduce that by 4. Jesus Christ. Because it was an odd number.
Right. That's so coll. I've never had an immolator before, so I've never seen that move.
Yeah, they're pretty beefy. They're more like forge clerics, I think, is the idea here.
It's interesting. Well, they seem like they can be, as you level them up, they can do a lot of different things.
Right. But they're given a lot of that kind of they can make stuff with their hands too.
So now Nice has his foot kind of jammed into the bones. Melisandre has been knocked flat. Duncan and Bramble, what do you do?
Well, I see my friends have gone down, and perhaps violence is not the right path, though they have tried to tell me that it is. And I'm going to be calm. Perhaps there is a way for us all to leave with our lives. And use my wizard spell that I get because I'm a human and cast Charm Person on the big troll man.
Very nice. So, okay. Roll your, cast a spell move.
Okay. It's a 6 plus 2 plus wisdom, that's a 10.
You feel the magic surround it, but the 5 heads just stare back at you with their slavering jaws.
You think we're like one of you? No, we're not like one of him.
Your Jedi mind, your mind tricks do not work on me. It doesn't work on beasts or monsters, just on regular people.
Oh. It does say that. Yeah.
Amazing.
Bramble or the others, what do you do?
I'm just going to take a step to the side, a step back with his right leg, and a rock step, side to the other side, a little cha-cha-cha. Begin doing a dance, and he's going to heal Melisandre with his attempt to.
Okay.
I'm being reminded that Ty is a dance instructor in real life.
I thought that
I'm like, how does he know all this? Then I remembered.
I just want to point out, if you look at the stream, his actual handle is Ballroom Brawler. I mean,
there's reason.
Yeah.
That's a 10.
That's a 10. All right. So yeah, you can cast. You can do your healing.
It's a 9 to heal.
Wow.
Oh wait, no, a D8. I'm sorry, no. I was a D8, not a D10. My bad. It's not quite as good as a 4.
You know.
I'm sorry.
All right. So there's 4 damage. What do the rest of you do?
Oi, beasties, come and get it.
Okay, so what is that for you? That's plus con?
Yeah. Ramo, lay this all down. That's better. Shit. It's 1 away from being a 10, so it's.
That makes it a 9?
Yeah. So that means only the weakest and the foolhardy among them. will
Right,
fall
so-
into my taunting.
Tredarag pays you no mind. You're stuck. He doesn't have to worry about you. But the Cavernites do fall prey to your taunting and turn.
Ah! He can't move!
So does that mean I get plus 2 damage against them? Because it's unclear.
Yeah, so yes, it means that not let's see, let me read that what it says again. It says take plus 2 damage ongoing against them. So when you oh, my son is mad at the dog. I can hear that.
So I guess I only get the plus 2 against the few that fall prey to my taunting?
Yes, which is going to be those 3 Cavernites.
Okay.
You get to do an extra 2 damage to them.
And it's ongoing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so as long as they're alive.
So they are rushing up towards you, femur shanks in hand. What do you all do?
I'm striking out my brand of fire.
Okay. Well, you are kind of laying on. You've been knocked on your back.
Okay.
So you kind of, if you want, you can kind of take a moment to. The way you're standing on bones, so it's gonna take a moment to kind of get up and without sliding and slipping and all of that. So it takes a moment to do that.
Wait, I'm standing on bones.
Yes.
Are our bones like littering the floor and kind of
Yes.
I'm lighting them on fire.
Because of course you are. All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn this battlefield into our favor, at least my favor.
Yeah, I was like, well, that helps one of you.
Yep. Just gonna stick my. Is that gonna? Could we say to make it effective that it uses up the use of my brand, like I strike the bones?
Yeah, so you can strike the bones to set a little bit of them on fire,
Yeah.
and then you'll have to then bend the flame to your will after
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
first, make your attack.
11.
11, yeah. So some of them get set on fire, and everybody turns, and you can see there's this, at first, small fire among the bones on the ground right next to Melisandre, and the Cavernites pay it no mind. They are focused right now on Nice. But the troll, one of the heads, turns and says,
Guys?
what do the rest of you, I'll give everybody a quick chance to do something before he bends the flame to his will.
As Melisandre is getting up, I'm going to help my friend Nice up and pat him on the chest and have faith. And,
So you're kind of helping Nice get free from those bones?
yeah, help him stand and
Okay.
try to imbue a little bit more of Onos's good grace and heal my buddy Nice.
I'll just swing at the Ravenites. Almost said Ravenites. The Cavernites.
Revenites, are they like mixing the light side and the dark side of the Force?
No, I was crossing over into Critical Role Land and killing Draconians.
Oh, I was crouching over to Star
Draconians
Wars.
who did nothing wrong.
Draconians who were born without tails.
Yeah.
So what's your cast a spell roll there, Duncan?
7.
7. Okay.
1, 5, plus 2.
As you do that, you start to see the healing magic. Some of it get caught by some of those bones, and some of the bones in the chamber start to knit themselves together and starting to form up.
All right.
Yes, Emma, it was wine being poured. Unlike some people on this stream, I don't drink it straight from the bottle.
I haven't been drinking in a couple of weeks, but yes, I do like to drink straight from the bottle.
Do I still heal? Nice.
Yes.
Okay, that's 7.
Okay. Yeah, so nice. Then you are still kind of stuck in this thing. So in order to attack, you're going to have to do a defy danger of some sort.
I'll just Superman my way out of these bones to get into the Cavernite's faces.
Okay, so strength sounds like?
Yeah. Oh, that was almost Snake Eyes, but not quite. It's instead a 5.
Oh. So, mark experience. I love saying that. Mark experience, and as you are doing that now, these bones that were starting to rise up stand up, and now there is an undead skeleton in the room with you, and it is focused actually on Melisandre, and it starts to clatter. We must snuff out the warmth of life. And it goes over and starts stomping out the fire that you lit on the bones.
Okay.
What do you all do?
Can I control the fire? Can I use this ability to harm creatures when there's enough of it, or how does this work with Zuko style? Bend the flame to your will?
So the flame and the bones just got stomped out by the skeleton.
Oh, it just stomped him out? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit it with my burning brand then.
All right. Dog bats don't like that. 8. Okay.
You can't make this shit up.
I'm starting to get suspicious about your dice.
I switched them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding about being suspicious, by the way.
Me too. But yeah, I switched them.
So roll your damage.
Yeah. Hey, 8 plus 1 is 9. Points of fire damage. Yeah.
That's good. So as you do, first of all, as you are hitting it, as it is punching you, and it smacks you in the side of the face for 1 damage. But as you thrush forward with your burning brand, straight into its rib cage, all of its bones start to catch fire, and after a moment, the entire skeleton is enveloped in flame, and it throws its hands out, looks up, flame shoots, this magical flame from you shoots out of its eye sockets, out of its mouth, and it collapses into ash.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like more to the flame. That was 1 damage on me.
1 damage on you.
So I just reduce it. I even rolled a 1. So.
So what do you do? The rest of you. Bramble, you've been very quiet here. You're kind of stepping out your whatever dance that is. What are you doing now?
I'm gonna continue my cha-cha, and I'm gonna try to heal. How's Melisandre looking?
Fine.
Oh, how's everyone else? I'm gonna heal myself for once because I am not great.
Fair.
Oh, it's a snake eyes though. That's a double 1.
Wow. Tie healing. This is a first.
And I did fail during it, so that's probably a sign.
It's all and honest. I should tell you, you can heal an ally.
Oh, you can heal yourself.
But you could have done. I would have told you could have done something else useful.
Yeah.
However, in this case, you are doing the cha-cha and playing your pipes, and the Cavernites there, they're very focused on Nice. He's got their attention. And so instead, you see them grinning, and they, in unison with your music, kind of in tune to the beat. In fact, the 3 of them do a little cha-cha step as they stab at Nice, who takes 6 damage, including 1 piercing.
Stop having piercing.
What do you all do?
I need to get out of the bones. No, I got a 3.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You're in the bones.
He stepped into it. He's got kind of his ankle turned a little bit, and he's stuck there.
When I healed him, I was trying to also like lift him up and help him up.
Okay.
I did that.
So, can you give me a defy danger with strength?
Sure. That would be double 5s, so 11.
Yeah. No, not only do you pull it out, you end up cracking some of those scattered bones there on the ground, and rotted and putrid marrow leaks out from within those other bones. And you hear Tredarag, the troll, one of his heads yell, "Oh, you should not have done that." What do you all do?
Can I get out? Can I get out now?
Yeah, no, nice. You are free from the bones now. You still have the Cavernites attacking you.
I will attack them back and say something like, "Oh, you're not used to dealing with bones on the outside of people."
Yep.
That is 10 on the dot.
Oh, you were making a face like something bad happened.
I keep forgetting that this symbol is not 1, it's the 6, and so I was like, oh, wait, that's a 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, otherwise it would have been a 5. Yeah, I get the. Yeah, that makes a big difference. So tell me how you're attacking them.
After stepping out of the bones, I'll just like try to cut them in half, like one after the other with my axe, doing a total of 8 damage.
8 damage. Yeah, one of them definitely gets cut in half. The other ones, and it's not just that it's cut in half. As you hit it, it's like you released some sort of internal pressure in it, and just red blood goes spewing like a bubble was popped. All over, you are now drenched in Cavernite blood. And you just nick one of the other ones. And
I will stab the other one.
All right, do it.
7 plus 1, that's an 8.
8? Yeah, so do your damage, and they'll do their damage back to you.
6. It's 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not magical anymore because I wasn't subtracting 1 from all my other spells, so I had that spell in.
So it does 5 damage to you, including 1 piercing.
Key?
And remember, you don't have your shield anymore because it's at the bottom of the lake.
Nope. That's fine. Fine.
And that one you stabbed, you pierced right into it, and you hear it kind of howl, and it's looking down, and they can see its lifeblood seeping out from its abdomen, but it's not dead yet. What do you all do?
I'd like to light the bones on fire again. I want this whole thing to burn.
Do you still have any uses left on your burning brand?
Yeah, I have one left. Yeah.
Okay. So plunge your burning brand into the bones and roll your... You know what? Yeah, go ahead.
10.
10, okay. As you
bones.
as you plunge it straight into this bones, you see them flare with the fire. Your burning brand dissipates. But now you start to see this fire starting to spread. What do you all do?
Yeah.
It's gonna keep wailing on
Bramble, what are you doing?
Bramble's gonna keep this cha-cha going. He's gonna try to give a little advantage to good old Nice.
All right.
That's far better. That's a 10.
10. Okay, so he gets what? Plus 1d4?
Plus 1d4 forward damage.
Okay, so your next damage, you'll add a d4. So
That's 12.
12 to hit? All right, yeah. Not 12 to hit, but yeah, 12 in your hack and slash. Yeah, so roll all your damage, including an extra d4.
That's
Do
7.
you want to do an extra d6 and open yourself up to their attack?
Sure. That's an extra 6. So that's what did I say? I said 7? No, what did I say? Yeah, I said 7. So that's 13.
13 total?
13 total damage.
Okay. So that's going to be... Yeah. So they are, as you are slashing back and forth against them, in the melee, they managed to get into you for 6 damage, one of which is piercing. But during that, you just hack them to pieces. It's like you're turning them into little cubed cavernites. Just chop, 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 chop with your axe. And now there's just cavernite giblets all over the floor. The troll, however, is unhappy and is advancing towards the bard.
The troll has a hammer, correct?
Correct.
The
big stone hammer. And he's got these long giant arms, and he's getting close to, he's got just the bard is just inside his reach.
So I'm going to, seeing this and having this need to protect Bramble, so my bond, I'm going to channel my belief in Onos into that hammer and try to illuminate it with Onos's light and cause fear. And
Oh, yes! Yeah. So, roll your cast a spell.
Do I get anything for using my bond?
No, that would only be someone else would. If you were aiding him, you would roll plus bond.
Okay.
It does affect a move later on in the game, but
That's an 8.
That's an 8. Okay, so you can choose one of the complications.
Which are forget it or...
You can forget it. You can take -1 ongoing to cast a spell. Or you can draw unwelcome attention or put yourself in a spot.
I'll put myself into a spot.
All right. So you cause fear.
They are afraid of that object.
Right. The heads, one of the heads on the shoulders suddenly calls out,
It's coming! The light! The light! Oh,
and the stone hammer now is glowing with this holy light. And by the way, your remember also that your sword is also, and the hue and brightness of these two lights match each other. Clearly, it is the same thing. And the troll throws down the weapon, kind of screaming at it, and looks at you and says, "Oh, you want some?" And is going to, you said you rolled an 8?
Yeah.
All right. And it's going to come right up to you, and it's reaching down to pick you up. What do you all do?
I would like to spread the fire. If it's not, I want this fire to fully burn every bone pile, every kind of dust mite.
Now that's going to be dangerous to everybody around you, right?
I mean, I don't know. I'm picturing more of like a horseshoe around the cavern.
All right. I'm just saying it's dangerous, not that they immediately are going to get burned up.
Yeah.
Just that there's consequences that could happen, that's all. So you bending the flame with to your will?
Yeah, I'm trying.
All right, roll plus wisdom. Did you get an 8?
13.
Oh, wow.
Whew. So yeah, it is bent to your will. So yes, you don't burn up your friends, and it starts to. So tell me what it does here in this cavern.
So the way I'm picturing is we've entered this cavern, right? And so like in the back of it, and then all along the walls and intermittently through the floor, there are bone piles that are spread after all this mini troll's conquest. I'm just like spreading it so that basically the room is enveloped in flames, but we're kind of coming from the entrance. So
Okay.
I'm hoping the fire is more, it's kind of around in like a horseshoe-like motion around the cave. Because I just want it to be the fire creating a Thunderdome. welcome to Fire Dome is basically what I'm doing.
Welcome to Fire Dome.
Yeah.
All right, so now, the room is starting to become engulfed in flame. The troll is now reaching down to put its arms completely around Duncan.
I will, Bramble will address the troll. Now listen, we're all just, this could be a big old misunderstanding. We're here to take whatever treasure we can find. We don't want to cause you any harm. We don't want you to cause us any harm. I don't use charming and open, which is I'm speaking frankly with him, and I can ask them a question.
And then they can ask you a question, which you must
Correct.
answer.
What do they most desire?
You have come through the door. Hoytle let you pass, and yet you bring not my troll stone. I seek my troll stone.
Why will you? And this is the how can I get you to X.
Why do you not leave? Why do you come to Treaderag's home?
Well, we came in looking for a nice pile of gold or something worth it. So what kind of stone? It's a troll stone? Does it look like a tiny troll? Is it shiny? We can bring that for you and
So this is definitely a parley. If you could roll plus charisma again.
11.
Whoo! All right. So parley, I have too many papers here. When you have parley is when you have leverage on a GM character. So you have something that they want or need. He thinks you may have the troll stone, right? On a hit, they ask you for something and do it if you make them a promise first. On a 7 to 9, they need some concrete assurance of your promise right now. You rolled an 11, so it's a hit. They ask you for something and do what you're asking if you make them a promise first. Yeah, oh yeah, that's now to be clear, Treaderag has no idea that this stone is completely smashed. He says,
Oops.
I will trade anything for the stone.
"Bring us the stone."
Yeah. Oi, bring us the stone and we'll give you what you want, eh?
Don't even worry, we'll get you your stone. It'll be glowing and precious and everything your heart does desire. But you're gonna have to give us a quick minute. We're gonna go convene, we're gonna go get it, we'll bring it back, and you'll give us what our heart desires.
And he kicks that glowing stone hammer towards you, and he says,
Take this with you.
Oh, it's a mite heavy for my arms, but
and then it turns around and looks at the fire, and it starts trying to run out with all of its arms, trying to put out the fire while you're doing that. What do you all do?
I'll pick up the glowing hammer.
why don't we have a quick conference over there outside real quick, and then we'll,
Yeah, he's ignoring it now. He's thinks you're going to go get the troll stone. He's trying to stamp out the fire.
Have we seen any treasure down here, like, at all? And do we see anywhere else? I know the fire is not going like crazy.
Yeah, it would you if you want to stay in here and look for the fire. Look for the treasure. While there's bones on fire everywhere and a frantic troll, that's definitely going to be defy danger.
I guess I was hoping, like, while we were wrecking shit, that maybe we saw
He's
something.
got belongings of some sort around here, bags and equipment and small rotten chests, but you don't know what's in them right now.
Have I seen any signs of prisoners or slaves or missing children that I was led to believe were down here?
Some of the bones are small.
Ooh.
I'm pushing the fire on the troll. I don't do it.
Yeah.
I just kind of look over to. I'm gonna look over to. Not Brody. What's your name?
Bramble.
Bramble. Yeah. I'm like, we destroyed the troll stone. And I'm gonna push the fire onto the troll.
All right. Roll plus. What is it? Plus wisdom for you?
Yeah. 9.
9.
Yep.
And what is? And it. So it flashes on it for a moment, but it doesn't last. So roll your roll your damage.
Okay. 4.
4. Does it say that your damage ignores armor? Any of your stuff? No, right?
Next to the no.
Okay, just making sure. Yep. So it burns it a little bit,
Okay.
but not a lot, and it stops. And one of its heads, 2 of its heads, kind of turn towards you, and then it starts to rotate its body.
We had a deal. Oi! This is not what we said.
Seeing... Go ahead.
My friend here did, he seems to have misplaced the stone. I'm gonna go look for it real quick. I'll be back in a minute. I'm gonna start to back away.
Okay.
Seeing these small skeletons on the floor
Uh-huh.
and realizing that these might not all be goblins,
Right.
and that my duty in life is to protect children, and this troll has clearly perhaps eaten some. I am filled with a divine fury and anger, and I'm going to take the troll's hammer and I'm going to hit the troll with his own weapon.
All right. This hammer does +1 damage
Let's hope I can hit it.
because it's very heavy.
Yes.
It is.
Plus strength,
Plus strength, yep.
9.
9. You smack into it. Roll your damage
Okay.
and add 1 for this stone hammer.
That's 6.
You smack into it and it kind of stumbles back, then roars, hits back at you for 9 damage, and just smacks right into you. And now there's fire but you can see fire behind it in this room. So there's a troll kind of coming out of the fire towards you, just smashing down into Duncan. What did the rest of you do?
I will charge the troll to try and attack it, hoping that we'll either kill it or maybe Bramble will buy us some time. But I rolled already, and I rolled a 6.
Yeah, so as you run up to it, you hit it, but it just glances. It has this very thick hide that resists most damage. What is 7?
That's how many experience points I have.
Dang! And instead, it swings on you, doing 6 damage, and it just punches right into you very hard. Melisandre and Bramble, what are you doing? Bramble is running away.
Bramble's gonna moonwalk away. So and as he moonwalks away, he's gonna try to heal nice. 10.
10 on your plus charisma?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. So yeah, roll your d8 to heal.
Ooh, that's a 7.
Oh! Melisandre, I saw you making a swirling motion.
That's right. I'm going to see. My character happens to be evil. I don't know if you know this.
Why do you think that sword was flaring when it got near you?
And I'm an unwilling victim to sacrifice, so I'm going to try to keep consuming this creature into the flame.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to say, just
14.
On your Zuko style?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, roll your D8 for your damage.
Okay. 8. The system wants me to be evil.
Right.
It wants me to be evil.
The troll is now engulfed. It's not dead, but it is engulfed in flame, and it screams out. No!
Oh my God.
What do you all do?
I'm gonna hit him again.
Yeah, with that same hammer?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's not as good. That's only a 7.
It's only a 7.
I guess that's the same, actually.
Okay, so roll your damage.
Yep.
Remembering to add 1.
That's 6 again.
It takes the hit, and you see it kind of, and it punches back at you for 6 damage.
Still standing.
It's got very heavy fists, but this thing, one of its heads, its eyes are black and swollen and whatever, and it is still ready to fight. Bramble, what you doing as you're moonwalking out?
I am going to continue to moonwalk out, now passing the door, and I'm going to try one more time to heal. Probably, once again, nice. It's an 8 this time.
Okay. So roll your healing. Because it still works.
Yeah, it's 7. Again.
Okay. 7. That's good. The troll also seems invigorated by your healing magic. What do you all do?
I'm getting the stone. Just give me like 1 minute. I'm right. I'm almost.
I also attack for glory. Roll a 10, and I do 8 damage.
You roll a 10 to hit, 8 damage.
I do not want to be attacked back. After Bramble did so much work to get me not be dead.
You said 8 damage?
Yep.
Okay. And it stumbles back. It's a shame, such a shame that the bard healed it a moment ago.
I'm going to continue to Zuko style this thing, and I got a 13.
All right.
Apparently I should have been rolling to control fire. No, wait, I failed on those before too. I don't know.
Yes, roll your D8.
7 points of damage. These rolls.
Yeah, so it's going to, it's now, you can see it's the furs that it's still wearing to some extent are now completely on fire as well. The bones are just completely engulfed. You can see this. Some of the chests and bags that it had have caught fire, and you can see coins within them as the fire is burning away the containers. And Tritorag is unable to do anything so far.
No! You are for eating!
Oh, and we should be keeping the gold. What do you do?
I'm still afraid of the hammer, right?
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. That's why it dropped it.
I'm trying to whack him one more time and like try to smash one of the heads right off the middle one.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you're getting it. Are you saying anything about the hammer? Because the hammer's still glowing, right?
Yeah. They're still very afraid of this hammer. The weapons of evil shall be taken over by the good and used for retribution. Smash.
All right. Yeah, give me that hack and slash.
That is a 11. So
Roll your damage.
do I get the choice to add an extra dice?
Yes, you can add D6 and expose yourself to its attack.
I don't have a lot of hit points, but I think he's real mad. So I think he's gonna expose himself to damage anyway. So do I add the +1 to both dice or just once?
Just once.
Okay.
It's not adding to the dice.
2 6s, so that's 13 points of damage.
Holy, literally, holy. So tell us how Duncan destroys this troll. It doesn't have to be just one hit. It can be, whatever.
I take the hammer and I smash it into that middle head, and as that head comes off, the might of Onos comes over me. It goes through the next 2 heads, and I turn it around and just barely, because it's so heavy, smash it down onto the last 2. And it's just like smashing watermelons.
I'm imagining like Bam Bam from the Flintstones. Just bam, 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 bam. And yeah, now the troll meat is now being cooked by the flames. You have just enough time to grab some of the treasure and rush out before the fire now is, well, Melisandre could possibly do something to it, but left to its own devices, it's going to completely engulf this cavern in a moment.
That's perfect. That's what I want.
And as this is a one-shot, we will end it there, assuming that you can return successfully with armfuls of treasure. I hope you got... Well, before we end, there is an end of session move that we need to run through real quick, just to give you an idea of how it would work. So, when you reach the end of your session, choose one of your bonds that you feel is resolved. If it's completely explored, no longer relevant, superseded by something else, it's otherwise. Ask the player of the character you have the bond with if they agree. If they do, mark experience and write a new bond with whomever you wish. Anybody feel like they resolved a bond this session?
Possibly.
What was your bond?
Well, I have a bond with Melisandre that has insulted my deity, and I do not trust them.
Do you feel like that's no longer relevant or been completely explored?
Oh, no, yeah, it's probably stronger. It's probably gotten worse.
You're welcome.
How about nice?
Well, I don't know if it's completely... If we continue to adventure together, it would be completely solved. But for now, it's Melisandre is always getting into trouble. I must protect them from themselves. And I have a bond. Bramble shares my hunger for glory. The earth will tremble at our passing.
I gotta say, I won't say that you resolve those bonds, but clearly y'all have exactly the right bond, and you should be aiding each other more because those are, and it drives the role play in the story, which is, it's not just mechanical, right?
I also have Melisandre is puny and foolish, but amusing to me, and Duncan, his ways are strange and confusing.
but awesome. All right.
Yeah. Mine was I will teach Bramble the true meaning of sacrifice, but I didn't quite get there.
Not quite. Second, look at your alignment. If you fulfilled that alignment, at least, you were going to say something,
Yeah, I would say mine would. My original was I am running a ballad about the adventures of Melisandre. I'm going to change it to nice because, I would like to end that because nice, I think I've definitely connected more about writing.
Yeah, I think so. So you would mark, so first of all, does Duncan agree? Or no, it's Melisandre. Does Melisandre agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Bramble, you mark XP.
Okay.
And you write that bond instead with nice.
Okay.
Now, all of you look at your alignments. If you fulfilled it at least once, mark XP.
I did.
I did too.
What was Bramble's?
Try to avoid conflict or diffuse a tense situation.
You tried. Duncan?
Endanger yourself to heal another?
Oh, yeah. 100%. Several times. And nice?
A convention of the civilized world.
What was your convention of the civilized world you eschewed?
I feel like saying hello and trying to negotiate before attacking something is usually how people get, like, I just jumped into that lake and started attacking that thing. I don't know.
Could be. I think about it more
Jumping
about
into the trap.
Yeah. I think it comes up more often when you're like in town and stuff like that. But sure. Did we learn something new and important about the world? So we answer these 3 questions as a group, and everybody gets the same thing. I think in session 1, by definition, you have to. Like we didn't know anything about the world at first, right?
Right.
Did you overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Yes.
Yes. Did you loot a memorable treasure? That magic sword. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you
So that's 3 XP.
3 XP for that. Now,
I definitely leveled up.
yeah, so the way leveling up works, as noted, is when you get to 7 plus your level, then you get to increase 1 stat, not the modifier, the stat by 1, and then you can choose from one of the advanced moves from your class. And if we play Dungeon World again, you will have a level 2 character.
Neat.
Sweet, dude.
Thanks to y'all for playing. I know it started out a little bit slow, I felt like, but I think it picked up after we got deeper into it and kind of everybody got the hang of it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I love Dungeon World, and I will be running more of it. I ran it last Saturday and this Saturday. Next Saturday I will not. There's other stuff happening on the channel, which we'll talk about more in a moment. But I will be doing more Dungeon World, so stay tuned, as they say. Let's go around real quick. We've got another. Invisible Sun is waiting for us. So we need to clear the channel for them. So just very quickly, your name, where people can find you on the internet, and your favorite moment in today's game. And let's go first with Adam.
Hello, I'm Adam. I'm Adam_J_Pearson on the Twitters. I also live in the Discord, literally. My favorite moment was definitely Bramble's using the dance instructor maneuvers as a dancing bard was awesome.
That was good. Ty.
I'm Ty. You can find me on Twitter at Baller Brawler. The L's are 1s in Ballroom. My favorite moment for tonight was the moment between Duncan and Melisandre. The hand on the chest thing, that was real good. That was real good.
That was a fun moment, yeah. That was your second one. Matt.
I am Matthew. I am at Matthew W. Foreman on Twitter. And my favorite moment was when Bramble seduced the door.
That was something. That was definitely something. Anders, how about you?
I'm Anders_D_K on Twitter, and my favorite moment was, I hate to be selfish, but smashing all the heads like watermelons was pretty
No, that was awesome. That's no question. I had so many favorite moments. The troll being outlined by fire. But actually my favorite moment, honestly, for me as the GM, was Adam's face when the lake monster, the long leg of the lake, stood up. My favorite thing is when players react with a big old nope to the monster description. It fuels me. So, I'm Kyle. You can find me at TechnoSkull on Twitter. I write an occasional blog about Dungeon World, mostly these days, and D&D at technoskull.me. Stay tuned for here. Don't touch that dial for, what is it, As the Suns Burn, for Invisible Sun, run by our own Dan Gaston. This is June. This is Pride Month. Happy Pride. And that means that there's a bunch of new Pride-related content coming here on this channel. So Saturdays at noon Eastern and Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, from what I can tell. Dan will fill you in and chat about the details of that if he needs to. And you can also see the schedule. Tomorrow night is Urban Shadows, which I believe Matt is also in, right? And then we have Dungeon of the Mad Mage is wrapping up. That's just about done, but there's stuff happening for that. So everybody enjoy. Thanks for coming, and we will catch you folks later. Good night, everybody.